Here we go. We're ready to go live, Ross. And
looks like about 5 minutes to airtime.
Okay, we're on YouTube already, James. So no more discussion about your health. You know, HIPAA laws and all that.
Gentle. We'll maintain radio silence.
Doug, our normal bit rate, 4? Okay. It was on 1 because of the last game, so I put it up to 4. Welcome to our YouTube streamers. Your Wildcat play-by-play, brought to you by Alliance Bank. Okay, let's see. Our kickoff sponsor tonight, J. Hodge Chevrolet. Our first down sponsor, Hooten's Hardware. Blue Blazes, it's Blue Blaze Buddy Night. So those of you that are watching early, see that the Blue Blazes have some buddies out on the field when the Wildcats come out on the field. We'll be going live on the radio here in just a few moments. PA announcer coming on a little bit before we're coming on the radio. No doubt to announce the Blue Blaze Buddy program.
Allow these young people to feel pride in their communities and school. We also ask that you show your appreciation for the students who will be taking part indirectly
10 seconds.
Game, the cheerleaders, the bands, pep squads, drill teams, etc. These young people play an important part in their team's success.
2, 1.
The officials for this
Good evening, Wildcat fans, and welcome to another edition of Wildcat Football here on KSST, 12:30 a.m. It's a beautiful night for football, 84 degrees as weatherman James reports to us, as well as 41% humidity and just a light southerly breeze of only 5 miles an hour, so it should be just a great night for football as the Wildcats take on the Royse City Bulldogs and in yet another district game. So the Ross, we've got a little ground to make up, I think. Of course, the Wildcats have had a tough start to this season, and they just kind of want to get something moving, I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chad. And just as you were saying, it's been kind of a tough go for the Wildcats football team. They started the season 0-5 and 0-2 in district, but that's not for a lack of effort. Quite the opposite, in fact, because a number of the teams that the Wildcats have played, Lovejoy, Ennis, and then Kaufman as well, all three teams are in the top 5 of their respective subdivisions.
Right, very highly state-ranked teams, and the Wildcats almost pulled it out against Kaufman. That was the 34-32 game, I believe, where they came very close. And so we've seen a lot of good football action, a lot of good plays, a lot of I would say improvement by the team. I will call out the quarterback yet again. I've seen the quarterback improve each week. So I think we're in for some good football tonight.
Yeah, and just like you were saying, the quarterback, Matthew Mitchell, has steadily improved each and every week, and something I brought up to both Wildcats football coach Greg Owens and defensive coordinator Kurt McCain in the coaches show week before, Saturday before last,
right,
was that we talked with him, and I talked about that because if you remember, one of the 2 touchdowns that the Wildcats scored in the loss in Ennis to the Lions was on a 56-yard fade route, and in which Matthew Mitchell was able to connect with Weston Fields, again, 56 yards to the end zone, and I talked about how that timing has been much better for these two teams, and Coach Owens said it continues to build confidence for this quarterback.
Yeah, there's just been some improvement in every week and every game, and unfortunately the record doesn't always reflect that. The scores don't reflect that, but still, to our diehard Wildcat fans, we're glad you're here, and we hope that the Wildcats can put on another great game for us and maybe improve. But it's always difficult to be in such a tough district, and then the alternative district, or whatever you want to call it, that we play in the preseason. We played some very, very good teams, and it's just always tough. And like I say, I don't think that our record really reflects how well the Wildcats are playing and how well they're improving week to week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's something that both head coaches for both football teams said during the week. Head coach for the Royse City Bulldogs, David Petroff, he said that on Monday, and then Coach Owens said the exact same thing on Wednesday. They've played a really tough opponent, and just like you said, against some tough non-conference opponents. I mentioned in my article that I posted after interviewing Coach Owens that the Wildcats football opponents, including Royse City tonight, are combined 30-1 over the course of this season. So just a brutal strength of schedule, and unfortunately for the Wildcats, it won't be a whole lot easier when they host the Royse City Bulldogs, with the Bulldogs coming to Gerald Prim Stadium tonight. This is the 3rd district contest for both teams. Again, Royse City 2-0 in district. The Wildcats lost their first 2 at home to Crandall, and then Friday before last they lost in Ennis to the Lions. But funnily enough, all teams in District 8-5A got a bye last week, and with that said, and halfway through season, getting the bye, allowing your players to rest and kind of heal up a bit, I think both of these teams are all too ready to get this football game underway.
Right, yeah, so everybody got to rest up. I don't know that we have really any injuries on our team, and it's only been minor injuries really for the season. So, and of course, Coach Owens is always a little secretive on who may be injured, who may not play, and which is good. Of course, he doesn't want to let on to the opposing team that we may have a weakness at some point or some part of the team, and that's fine. And speaking of injuries, Ross and I got to tour the Christus, I'm going to get this wrong, but it's the Mobile Athletic Training trailer over there that's here. Ross, anyway, this is a large trailer owned by the Christus healthcare system. This particular one's based in Tyler, and through its rotation, it's here tonight at the Wildcat Bulldog game here in Sulphur Springs at Gerald Prim Stadium. And so if any athlete on either team has an injury, they can be taken and evaluated right there as a sports injury type. They also do concussion protocol, I think they said in there as well, Ross, but they are really looking for the sports-related, orthopedic type injuries. We're going to listen to the fight song here. I think that's going to be for Royse City. Anyway, I'm going to turn that down and we'll let them continue to sing their school song on the opposing side. But that was a great, very impressive trailer that was, and of course it's staffed by the orthopedic surgeon that's here, that's at every game, that works with all the trainers for the Wildcats. And they can do, there was an x-ray machine right in the trailer that they can do x-rays right there, literally on the sidelines. It's kind of in a little parking lot next to the stands on the visitor side, but just as close as being on the sidelines. So that was a great thing, and we certainly thank the Christus healthcare system for having one of those here tonight, and hopefully Sulphur Springs will have one of those trailers here in our community all the time, so it can go to all kinds of different sporting events, not just football. They go to all kinds of different events, right, Ross?
Yeah, they sure do. They were talking about tonight. They're obviously here, just like we were saying, at Gerald Prim Stadium for the Sulphur Springs Royse City contest. But then tomorrow morning they'll be at a cross-country meet, and then tomorrow night they'll be in Tyler for a college football game. So a very stocked and full schedule for that trailer.
Right. Yeah, they put some miles on that thing. Now we've got about 6 more minutes until kickoff. Let's get into the roster. Do we have any surprises on the Wildcats this game? No
big surprises. But so I'll just go ahead and rattle off the Sulphur Springs offense. The for the offensive line, you got left tackle Drew Hodges, left guard Sean Dial, center Jacoby Yarbrough, right guard Carlos Alba, and right tackle Connor West. For your key position players at wide receiver, Landon Fields, C.J. Williams, and Weston Fields. At tight end, Luke Caton, Carson Fitton, and Matthew Clark. Quarterback, you'll be seeing Matthew Mitchell and more of Brady Driver here tonight, so that'll be good to see him back on the field. And then running backs, J.J. Hall, Malachi Rowland, and Douglas Deloney. For the Wildcat defense, you've got, as the Wildcats run onto the field, you've got the Sulphur Springs defensive line on tackle, Nick Cantillo, at nose, Brighton Reuter, and then the other tackle, Carson Fitton. Linebackers for the Sulphur Springs defense are Cable Glenn, Griffin Crawford, Braden Morris, and Douglas Deloney. And then your defensive backfield for Coach Kurt McCain's defense is corners Colby Albritton, Colt Silman, and then safeties Riley Hammonds and Cordarian Bull Turner. The Wildcats, of course, are coached by head football coach Greg Owens and athletic director, and coordinators for the Wildcats are offensive coordinator Matt Young and defensive coordinator Kurt McCain. And then go through this Royse City Bulldog roster as they take the field, and lots of Bulldog faithful made the trip out here tonight. And
yeah, there's probably 150, 200 already in the stands, which is a good turnout for Royse City.
It sure is, but one thing worth noting is that this is definitely the closest opponent that we've played here at Gerald Prim Stadium, so that could certainly help. But anyways, the Bulldog offense, 12 players to watch for here as opposed to the starting 11. You've got quarterback Kenneth Spring, running back Champ Petty Dozier. Watch out for him, Wildcats fans. He was a preseason district MVP, and the offense runs through him, so I have a feeling that we're going to be calling his name a lot tonight. The running back, Sam Mitchum, and then 3 wide receivers keep your eyes on. Number 7, Jonah Roberson, number 18, Ja'Cory Williams, and number 23, Hayden Tanksley. At tight end, they've got Nicholas Weaver, and then the offensive line, which is a bit younger, so expect A lot of blitzes from the Wildcats on defense tonight. Left tackle, Tyler Dean Vasquez. Left guard, Braden Tittle. Center, Harrison Hayes. Right guard, Aiden Uvina. And right tackle, Kason Base. The defense for the Bulldogs, they have a 3-3-5 base stack with a treetop safety. So, again.
And here comes the national anthem. That man-oh-man, the Wildcat band performing the national anthem tonight. The crowd falls silent as the...
Dear God, I thank you for everything you have made and done for us. I pray that everyone stays safe tonight, and I pray that we have an amazing time supporting our fellow classmates. I pray that you provide protection for everyone, but especially the coaches and players. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Amen.
Great, as always, to hear from the team chaplain here in Sulphur Springs.
Right.
And then I imagine we've got the national anthem here.
Yes, everybody's remained standing, facing the flag that's barely moving.
Wonderful, as always, to hear from that Wildcat band and hear them play a wonderful rendition, as always, of the Star Spangled Banner. Both these teams about ready to get underway as we've got just about a minute before game time. But real quick, I'll go through the Royse City defense. Again, I was mentioning that they have a 3-3-5 defense, which is just a fancy way of saying that they have a variant of the defense that Gary Patterson runs at TCU. On the line, you've got Carson Waddle, Hayden Hayes, Kieran Founsavath, Jason Gray, Wyatt Johnson. Linebacker, you've got Caleb Robb. And then for your 5 defensive backs, you've got Brandon Davis, Eric Spring, Christian Perry, Tatum Woods, and Hayden Adams. The Royse City Bulldogs are led by head coach and athletic director David Petroff. And should be a great game between these two squads as they look to get the action underway here in less than 30 seconds. And something we haven't mentioned tonight is this is the first time we've seen of course, we have to note the pink socks, of course,
right,
in awareness of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But this is the first time we've seen this Wildcat uniform in which they wear the yellow, maybe not the first time we've ever seen it, but the first time this year, definitively, where they're wearing yellow helmets and then all blue jerseys with white numbering, and then, of course, the pink socks for Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October.
And they're coming out for the coin flip, and we've got Devin Franklin as the team captain tonight, number 17, as well as Jesse Bailey, number 22, and we've got Alex Flecker, number 26, and then the last team captain is 92, and we'll need help with that number. That's going to be Brighton Reuter. So there's your team captains.
Jesse Bailey for 26, Alex Flecker.
And the Wildcats have won the toss, but they're going to defer, and that, of course, means that Royse City, the Bulldogs, will be getting the kickoff here at the beginning of the game, and the Wildcats have chosen to take the kickoff after the half. The Wildcats are going to be moving right to left this time during the first quarter, so I don't think we've seen that. They've always chosen to go the other way. But anyway, so the Wildcats, the Jayhawk Chevrolet kickoff will be here in just a moment. And then real quick, I have to mention one of our new play-by-play sponsors, Ross, and that's Masco Equipment. You know Sean Massey in Sulphur Springs. They're right there on the interstate. And he's one of our he and his staff are one of our new play-by-play sponsors for Wildcat football. We welcome them. They're the Coyote, K-I-O-T-I, Coyote dealer. They have tractors and side-by-sides as well as also Dixie choppers. So we're welcoming them into play-by-play broadcast. Here comes the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. Like I say, we're going to be moving from right to left here. And do we have a different kicker?
Oh boy, is this the first time we've seen Josh Tavera? No, we're seeing another new kicker here tonight.
Number 31.
Yes, Osvaldo Arellano.
Okay, so no word why we have a new kicker, but that's okay. It's, the Bulldogs have a couple of people back deep, right about the 10-yard line, so they're ready. Here comes the kickoff.
On its way, and number 1 is back deep to receive it. He catches it about the 3-yard line. He goes to the 10, 15, 20. He breaks a few tackles. He gets by some defenders. 40, and he is finally wrapped up at the Royse City 40-yard line, so what should amount to be about a 37-yard return to start this game. Not bad.
Oh, yeah, so it's going to be great field position for the Bulldogs, and I've got to say we have to hand it to Austin Cheney, number 23, who made that stop, and if he hadn't made that stop, they certainly would have gotten past midfield as the Royse City Bulldogs come out quickly to start their 1st and 10 on the their own 41-yard line.
So in at quarterback, they've got Kenneth Springs, and of course the number 11, but he takes the handoff. He gets it quickly out to number 1 in the slot, and he's able to get about probably 8 yards on the catch, and a nice move after the reception to get some extra yardage on the play, about 8 yards again. So, oh no, they'll give him 9 on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 1. So,
and you said that we were going to call that number 1, I think, a lot tonight, and certainly we did right there. You got the first pass of the game.
So then he hands it off, and I believe that was number 1, Champ Petty Dozier. We'll see once the mob of players get up. Lots of Wildcat defenders were quick to get in on that one and stop that play before it happened. But that was number 11, Sam Mitchum on the play, who got enough yardage for the first down. He only needed 1, and he got 1, so it'll be a first down. New set of downs for the Royse City Bulldogs at the Wildcat 48, the first time on the Wildcat side of the field, and on a sweep, he moves left. He's past the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. He breaks a tackle, 10, and he's inside the 10-yard line all the way to the 7. So, wow, what a big play that was, as that one went
41 yards.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yes, and that was number 1, and the Bulldogs are already lined up, ready to snap the ball. They're first and goal on the 8-yard line.
Yeah, Coach Owens mentioned this week that and Champ Petty Dozier gets a handoff, and he walks into the end zone for a touchdown. So very quickly, the Royse City Bulldogs pull ahead of the Sulphur Springs Wildcats 6-0 on a touchdown rush from number 1, Champ Petty Dozier.
Yes, that was. They made very quick work of that as he just waltzed into the. Almost caught the Wildcats off guard there by running up there and taking that play so quickly as they put 6 points on the board. 10:46 left in the first quarter here as we wait for the extra point.
Extra point's up. It's on its way. And it's good. So the extra point is good. The Royse City Bulldogs lead 7-0 with just over a minute into the game, but we do have some laundry on the field. We'll see what the call on the field is here in a moment after the refs discuss it for a moment.
Looks like they're going to assess that on the kickoff. There was some kind of penalty. I don't know if the officials have pink flags tonight, but he's going to say it's offsides. That against the Wildcats, of course, that penalty is going to be declined, so they'll take that extra point. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you at Wildcat football here at Gerald Prim Stadium in just a moment. And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium where the Wildcats are down 7-0 against the Royse City Bulldogs. 10:46 left in this first quarter as the Wildcats get back to receive, get set, and get a couple of personnel back there about the 15-yard line and get ready to receive the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. Lining up over here on the other hash mark here.
So we've got two Wildcats back to set to receive it. Number 6, Colby Albritton, and number 1, Landon Fields. It looks like Colby will get it, and he does at about the 22-yard line. He tries to juke and move around some Royse City Bulldogs, but to no avail as he's tackled right about at the spot where he caught it. So will be a Wildcat ball for the first time for Sulphur Springs on offense here, and it will be placed about, I want to say, the 32. We might get another spot here in a moment, but one thing I should note that I didn't note earlier was that I mentioned it on the drive with Royse City here a moment ago, but they love up-tempo. They're about 70 to 75% run. And Coach Owens said that his team has gotten down early and they haven't responded well. So here's a big chance for this Wildcat offense, but it won't come on this play as looks like a Royse City Bulldog jumped offsides. It will be encroachment against the defense unless perhaps maybe
they call it the other way.
Start right.
Yeah, it stopped the play, and the official's going to be walking in favor of the Wildcats, so there's 5 yards, and that's going to put them at about the 32-yard line now. They'd started on the 26, they're 1st and 10. So this Hooten's Hardware first down is now just a 1st and 5 for the Wildcats.
So he fakes a handoff. He gets it quickly out to C.J. Williams in the slot. He's able to break a tackle, but then he's wrapped up by a defender there, and he's able to get, enough yardage, more than enough yards for the first down. A 7-yard reception for C.J. Williams, and a good way to kind of stay ahead of the chains and keep this ball moving, something we haven't seen a whole lot from the Wildcats.
Right, so great play by the Wildcats, and they've got another set of downs. Looks like they're going to mark the ball on the Wildcat 39-yard line. Pretty good field position for the Cats to get moving.
And in the backfield with Matthew Mitchell is number 8, Malachi Rowland. And wow, he gets it out to number 16, Weston Fields, and he takes off 40, 35. And he's pushed out of bounds at about the 32-yard line of Royse City. So that's a great way. Wow. 2 great plays by this Wildcat offense. First, for a 7-yard reception by C.J. Williams to get the first down, and then a huge, what should be...
You're going to have to add that one up for me.
Oh, boy.
Because they come up, that's... 10, 16 plus 26. I'm going to call that 30 yards.
So C.J. Williams gets the reception on the sweep, and he's got lots of green grass ahead of him. 20, 15, 10, and he's out of bounds inside the Royse City 5 at the 4-yard line. Wow.
These Wildcats are moving it down the field. There's another set of downs for the Wildcats. They're going to be well into the red zone, and they're going to be it's going to be 1st and goal all the way down about the 4-yard line. So great field position for the Wildcats as they get up and to the they're going right up to the line of scrimmage.
So C.J. Williams back behind the center, so he's set to get the snap. So expect another Wildcat formation here from the receiver. And I have to tell you, he's been electric. Lots of touchdowns, but a timeout is called because they just cannot get it figured out in time. So timeout on the field. We'll take a quick timeout with them and be right back to see if the Wildcats can't punch it in here coming up. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as the Wildcat football team are trying to respond in what would no doubt be their best response to a football team when coming down early, and we saw that in a couple of games in Lovejoy and in 2 weeks ago versus Ennis versus the Lions. But the Wildcats football team down 7, but they're already at 1st and goal at the Royse City 4-yard line. So C.J. Williams, before taking the timeout, was in the Wildcat formation behind center, and he's set to take it again. We'll see if they can get it here, and he hands it off to Malachi Rowland, but quickly he is met by a litany of Bulldog defenders, and he's able to get some forward movement from his line, pushing him forward, but it looks like maybe he got just about a yard, maybe 2 on the rush.
Yeah, do not discount Malachi Rowland when he's got the ball. He's making that second and third effort. He's going to keep fighting, and he did, carrying a couple of defenders on his back to get a couple of yards. So it's second and goal on the 2-yard line.
C.J. Williams set to get the snap again, fakes the handoff to Malachi Rowland, and he tries to take off with it, but he is tackled for a loss, a 2-yard loss, and that'll make it third and goal from the 5-yard line. Nah, that's not the way that they wanted to respond on that play, but the Royse City Bulldogs, they had that one totally sniffed out.
A new receiver comes in for the Wildcats here on the near side, number 13.
That's Cable Glenn.
Cable Glenn, of course.
And 46, Carson Fenton, just came out.
And then C.J. Williams now lined up as a receiver on the far side with Weston Fields.
Coach Greg Owens and his program not taking any chances as Matthew Mitchell is back behind center. And he rolls to his right. Will they get the touchdown? He has to quickly throw it out, but it's intercepted. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And he is tackled out of bounds by
the quarterback, Matt Mitchell. Yep. Has saved his own interception from being turned into a pick six. A well-covered play there, unfortunately, by the Royse City Bulldogs as Matt Mitchell threw it into a lot of traffic there, and it came up going the other way. So the Wildcats are denied. They're making it all the way down to the 2-yard line, but they are denied putting some points on the board. And the Royse City Bulldogs are coming back out on the 35-yard line. Thank goodness 35 in their own territory, 1st and 10.
That's a heartbreaker for that Wildcat offense, but the defense will see if they can't get a stop here. But quickly they hand it off to Meacham, who's able to push his way forward for lots of yardage, and he'll get the yardage to gain on 1st and 10, and he'll get the 10 yards on an excellent push from his line. So new set of downs for this Bulldog offense, and it looks like we might have a Wildcat player down, but it looks like he's walking off on his own volition, so good for him. That's number 99, Nick Cantillo, I believe. Maybe. Either way, the Wildcat player who was down is now back up, so seems to be all well. But a new set of downs for this Bulldog offense, and it is 1st and 10 from the Royse City 45-yard line.
And who was that on the carry there? The number of the last?
That was
11 or 13.
11.
11 got 11 yards there.
Springs takes the handoff, and he quickly dumps it out to number 20 in the flat. He takes it out on the kind of wheel route, and he takes it about 5, maybe 6 yards on the play. So just like we were talking about the Wildcat offense on the last drive, this Royse City Bulldog offense, they are really good at staying ahead of the chains.
Yeah, they're going to give him a very generous spot there. They're going to give him about 7 yards. It's going to make it a 2nd down and 3 for the Bulldogs as they ran and got pushed over out of bounds over here on the near side of the field.
So Kenneth Spring back behind center. And he's looking to get out of the pocket, but Wildcat defenders are there, but he is able to get out of the pocket and get a yard on the play, so it won't officially be a sack on the play, but that has some very much big potential to be the defensive play of the game right there.
Oh, yes, the Wildcats were swarming and chasing around. Now, you have to give the quarterback credit as he could scramble there, and he ended up getting a yard instead of a sack.
2 running backs in the backfield for Royse City. Can they get the first down here? They hand it off to Champ Petty-Dozier, and he takes off 40 all the way to about the 35-yard line for Sulphur Springs, so about the 37-yard line, and that is an 11-yard gain for number 1, Champ Petty-Dozier.
He's already putting some big numbers on the board. He's very, very quick, and he takes some of those hits from the Wildcat defenders and keeps on going. So, like you say, in preseason MVP, and we can see why.
Spring hands it off to number 11, but he falls down. So, and he'll fall down right about at the line of scrimmage. So, no gain on the rush.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate for them. A good turn of events for the Wildcats. He just slipped right as soon as he grabbed the ball and kind of bit it right there. So that's just going to make it 2nd and 10.
2 running backs again in the backfield for Royse City. Number 1, Champ Petty-Dozier. And number 11, Sam Meacham. And he fakes the handoff. He was looking to get number 18 on the screen, but it just did not materialize. Ja'Cory Williams was the intended receiver on the play.
Pass will bring
but just didn't have the throw, and I think the quarterback Springs kind of had some Wildcat pressure coming at him.
Yeah, and there was a good coverage by the Wildcat defense on those two receivers. Two receivers were lined up here on the near side, and as soon as the ball was snapped, they're almost running around in circles, and one of them backing up, but just good coverage. Now they got three receivers on the near side, one on the far side.
3rd and 10, a big third down for this Wildcat defense. Can they get the sack? Yes, they sure can. I mean, it will be he was able to get about 2 yards on the forward progress as he fell forward, being tackled by a Wildcat defender, but there is a flag on the play. It's definitely going to be a holding against that offensive line for the Bulldogs, but I'm sure it will be declined.
Right, so if we decline it, then it's 3rd down again. If not, it's accepted as 3rd down again. If we decline it, it makes it 4th down. Everybody's walking back. It looks like we're going to take it. So now they're going to have a 3rd and very long. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have given them a chance either, like you said, Ross, but they're going to back it up, getting pretty close to midfield here as the one official throws the flag back to the other official. It's going to make it 3rd down and 20. A choice by Greg Owens to go ahead and accept that penalty and give them another shot at 3rd down instead of forcing them to. It would have been about a 4th and 10, I guess, right?
Yeah, and it would have been from the 37-yard line, so that would have been over a 50-yard field goal, so I can understand. Trick play coming. Statue of Liberty. Ooh, and it did not materialize the way that the Bulldogs were hoping for, and man, you see that trick play when the running back starts sweeping to the center, or behind center, and then hands it off to the quarterback, who then hands it right back to the QB, so
right.
The second that happens, you immediately kind of hold your breath and expect something big to happen, but didn't happen there for Royse City, and now a huge stop for this Wildcat defense.
Yeah, so they're going to, of course, Royse City is going to punt the ball away. We've got the punt receiver down here for the Wildcats on his own 15-yard line.
3 Wildcat defenders were back there, but not really a chance to get the punt block. And it takes a nice Royse City bounce all the way to inside the Wildcat 15-yard line at about the 14-yard line. So great punt there for the Bulldogs.
Colt Silman was back to receive that, but there's just no chance. They had plenty of time to get that punt off, and everybody was down around Colt before he could get his hands on that ball. So it rolls down. It's going to give the Hootens Hardware 1st down for the Wildcats all the way down on their own 15-yard line.
So a bit of tough field position for this Wildcat football team at their own 14-yard line, but no doubt they're going to be trying to get that interception out of their minds, but Bulldogs showing blitz, but the Wildcats are ready for it. Malachi Rowland takes off. He is all the way to the 35-yard line, to the 40-yard line. I'm sorry, that's J.J. Hall, but he is able to get what should be from the 14 all the way to the 44-yard line. So a even 40-yard rush for number 9, J.J. Hall.
30.
Oh, sorry.
What a great run by J.J. Hall there. He just did a great job going right up the middle, and a great blocking, too, by the Wildcats.
And a great way to start this drive. Pinned down in their 15, and J.J. Hall takes it again, and he gets 5 yards on the rush, so expect them to keep feeding the ball, because one thing about this Royse City Bulldog offense, as I mentioned, that they're 70 to 75% run, but obviously that means that the Wildcat defense is then hurt because of how much that offense is on the field. So
right.
The more that this Wildcat offense can stay on the field, keep the Royse City Bulldog offense off the field, the Wildcats pose a good chance to stay in this football game and potentially win it. But we'll see if they can put some points on the board here. And Brady Driver hands it off to J.J. Hall, and he has a nice juke move that allows him to get 4 yards on the rush, so it will be about a 3rd and 1 coming up for this Wildcat offense. And a big 3rd down for this Wildcat offense as they, again, look to tie this game up with just about 5 minutes left in the first quarter, trailing Royse City 7-0.
As they move into Bulldog territory, they've crossed the 50, and they're now on the 47-yard line with just 1 more yard to get that first down. And they could use a new set of downs and build that confidence and really keep moving down the field.
C.J. Williams, back behind center again. He gets the snap, and he hands it off to J.J. Hall. He fakes the handoff, keeps it, and he is swarmed by the Bulldog defense. And C.J. Williams not happy with that play, but the tackle for loss, it'll be about a, 4-yard loss on the play and force a Wildcat punt. So a tough play to end the drive for the Wildcats.
Yeah, the Bulldogs were all over that. He took the snap and scrambled to fake that handoff, scrambled around, but they just wrapped him up, and he had nowhere to go and couldn't pass it. So with the clock ticking down at around 4 minutes in the first quarter, the Wildcats are down 7-0 against the Royse City Bulldogs, and it's punt time as let's see who's going to be our punter tonight. Number 6, yes.
And delay of game penalty called on the Wildcats as they were having some trouble getting the right players onto the field. So the loss of 5 yards will make it a 4th and 10 for this Wildcat offense. So I'd be quite literally shocked if they went for it here, but you never know with Coach Greg Owens. But either way, a 4th and 10 from the Wildcat 49-yard line. And punting for the Wildcats is number 6, Colby Albritton.
Yes, and we got the Royse City Bulldogs back here on his own 25-yard line. A very high snap.
He's able to get it and get it away. Bulldog returner is wise to keep his players away from it, potentially avoid a turnover. But number 26, that's Alex Flecker, also on the cross-country team, was there to get to pick up the ball at what should be, the Royse City 27-yard line. So that's where they'll start with the ball for their next offensive drive. And I was going to say that we might take a timeout, but
this Royse City Bulldog offense, they're not on the field yet, but I'm kind of surprised because they move very quickly as the clock is. Here they come. The clock is ticking down. 3:37 left in this first quarter. The Wildcats down 7-0. They're coming up to the line of scrimmage to snap the ball.
So starting from their own 27-yard line for their 3rd offensive possession of the game. And he fakes a handoff. Kenneth Springs looking deep. And wow, an impressive breakup play there by number 6, Colby Albritton. And he had excellent coverage on that play to thwart what could have been a potentially home run ball for this Bulldog offense.
Yeah, great coverage. So we're seeing the defense do a really good job in tonight's game so far. Here comes 2nd down.
So after the missed opportunity on the deep bomb, we've got a penalty for this Bulldog offense.
I have to tell on myself there. I just gotten the binoculars out to see what was going on in that play. As soon as I got them up and all I could see was yellow, as I was in perfect position to see the yellow flag come across the field. And they're going to call that offsides against the Bulldogs. So, of course, the play stopped, and they're going to mark off 5 yards. It's going to make it about 2nd and 15 for the Bulldogs. So, good news for the Wildcats. It puts them all the way back on their own, the 22-yard line, 23?
Yeah, you're sure right. And one thing I should note is that he did call offsides against the offense. It's usually called against the defense, not something here every game.
False start is really what it should have been, I think. But
yeah, maybe. Either way, number 13, Kenneth Springs with the ball, and he he quickly dishes it out to, number 18 on the play. That's Ja'Cory Williams. But Wildcat defender was all over the play to kind of force that ball out and make sure the ball was incomplete. But we've got another flag on the play.
And he's facing the other way this time, but let's see what's going to happen here. Here comes the call from the official. And he's going to have some discussion with Greg Owens first, and then he's going to go discuss it again with the other official in the white hat. I guess they waved off that flag, or it was the penalty was declined. Anyway, it's going to make it a 3rd and 15 for the Bulldogs.
Again, another big 3rd down for this Wildcat defense if they want to get this Bulldog offense off the field and prevent them from consuming a whole bunch of clock and get the Wildcat offense back on the field. We'll see what they can do here on a 3rd and long situation. He rolls to his right, and he keeps it, and he breaks a tackle. He's at the 30. He's into the 35-yard line, to the 40, and he's got more than enough for the 1st down as he got, close to 25 yards on the rush.
Yeah, that's big play by number 11 there as he really moved down the field when they really needed it. They're almost to midfield. Well, they're on their own 44-yard lines, 1st and 10.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs, and we've got another penalty. So a false start will be called against the Bulldogs. It'll push them back 5 yards, make it a 1st and 15, and a bit of a sloppy drive for the Bulldogs here, even though they are moving the ball and moving the chains. Seeing a lot of mental miscues from this team.
Yes, they really get up to the line. I'm not going to say too quickly. They get up to the line very quickly, and they're trying to get up there and snap the ball. And that's what's happening. Is they're somebody's wanting to go a little too quickly.
1st and 15 for Royse City at their own 39-yard line, and hands it off to Meacham. And wow, that is a big tackle there by number 99, Nick Cantillo, to get the tackle for loss. And it will be a pretty nice tackle for loss, as it should be a loss of, looks like to be about maybe 2 or 3, or they'll say just 1 on the play, but still, number 99, Nick Cantillo, with a huge tackle for loss. And I mentioned it before, and that could also potentially be a defensive play of the game.
That's right. We don't want to discount our defense, do we?
Never. And if they can, especially if they can be pivotal to the win tonight. And Wildcat showing blitz. Kenneth Springs gets out of the pocket, and he dishes it out to number 1, Champ Petty Dozier, who breaks a tackle, keeps going. He's at the 40. He's at the 35, 30. He jukes another player, 20, 15. Wow. So that is a...
yeah, good luck.
That is I believe, a 47-yard rush there on the play.
Yes, I'm going to go with that. Huge play for the Royse City Bulldogs, as he, number 1, was just dodging and spinning.
And they're quick to get it back into the line. Number 11, Meacham, takes the handoff, and he gets probably 2 yards on the play. So not the best rush on 1st and 10, but they'll take it all the same, as opposed to a tackle for loss like they experienced the play before last. So they'll call it right at the line. So no yardage gained on that previous play. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the Wildcat 16-yard line. And Kenneth Springs keeps it. He takes a handoff, and wow, he had number 11, Meacham, and that's Sam Mitchum, wide open in the end zone. He had the defensive back completely beat on the play, and he was all alone in the end zone, but the pass from Kenneth Springs just wasn't as accurate as he wanted it to, and could potentially come back to bite these Bulldogs.
Yep. Hit him in the fingertips there, but it was just right out of his reach, and he just couldn't pull it in. That was a very well-executed play, dangerous for the Wildcats.
Kenneth Springs, oh, wow, passes it out to number 23 yep. on the flat route, and that's number 23, Hayden Tanksley. And he is able to get significant yardage on the play. It looks like a gain of about 8. So a 3rd and 10 turns to a 4th and 2. The Bulldog offense is staying on the field, as they potentially sense if they can get a touchdown, they might just be one step closer to potentially putting this game away. But on the other hand, if the Wildcat defense can get a stop here, that shifts the momentum completely to the Sulphur Springs side. So
absolutely
a big
play.
Huge play.
Yes, 4th and 2, minute 29 left in this first quarter. They're going to take a timeout and talk about it on the Royse City Bulldog side. We're going to take a break with them, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we've got a huge 4th and 1 for the Royse City Bulldogs offense at Gerald Prim Stadium as they've got a 4th and 1 from the Sulphur Springs 8. Their offense stays on the field and they're looking to make this a 2-possession game. 2 running backs in the backfield, Champ Petty-Dozier, and he hands it off to Petty-Dozier and he takes off into the end zone, bulldozes over a Wildcat defender for a touchdown. So the potential to keep this 1-possession game is thwarted by preseason district MVP Champ Petty-Dozier.
He runs it all the way in, and he's just not a huge running back, but he bulldozed over some of those Wildcat players and put it in for 6 more points for the Bulldogs, which it's going to make it 13-0. Minute 24 left in the first quarter, but we've got that extra point. Looks like they're going to kick it, Ross.
This is also the second team we play that has the A&M fight song. And extra kick is up, and it's good. So that's number 40, I believe. Yes, Mitchell Stokes, who gets the good extra kick. And so he is 2 for 2 on the PATs tonight, and he gives the Bulldogs a 14-0 lead over Sulphur Springs with just about a minute and a left here in the first quarter. We're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, but when we return, we'll see if Sulphur Springs can't start to chip in to this Bulldog lead. We'll be right back.
Wildcat Play-by-Play Football is brought to you by iFocus Eye Care. That's Andrew Yoder, Dr. Andrew Yoder on Broadway over there, or maybe Mockingbird. You know where where the Y is. And Sulphur Springs Dodge, as well as Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op, J. Hodge Chevrolet, Wesley House Assisted Living, and Alliance Bank. Also, Hometown Realty.
Landon Field back in along with Toby Aubrey to receive the kickoff. For number 40, Mitchell Stokes.
And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium where the Bulldogs are kicking off to the Wildcats, the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. It's a little short, Ross.
Yep, it sure is. And number 14, Reed Williams, catches it and takes probably about 5, maybe 6 yards on the return. So a decent return there and a pretty decent field position for the Wildcats, all things considered, as they start at their own 30-yard line. And we've seen in a couple of games like Lovejoy where they were pinned deep a lot. So to have field position at the starting with the 30 is pretty good for Coach Greg Owens and his program.
So here comes the Hootens Hardware first down. Matt Mitchell's in the shotgun, and looks like I've got Deloney in the backfield.
Yep, and he fakes a handoff to Deloney, quickly pass out to Cable Glenn on the outside, on the near sideline, and he's able to get what should be about 5, maybe 6 yards on the catch. Or I guess they'll just give him, 5 yards on the catch. So it will be a 2nd and 5, and we kind of stressed this earlier in the game when the last time Wildcats were on offense, but they're doing a really good job tonight of staying ahead of the chains and making some 2nd and 3rd and mediums. So he hands it off to Deloney on that one, and he takes off. He's bulldozing past this defense. Wow, he's on the Royse City side of the field, tackled at the Royse City 49.
About a 16-yard gain for Deloney there. Great field position for the Wildcats as they get into Bulldog territory. He did a great job running up the middle and just got yanked down by his shoelaces there as they just barely snagged him as he went through a couple of Bulldog defenders on that run.
And one thing worth noting, as again the Wildcats are on the Royse City side of the field at the Bulldog 49, as he hands it off to Deloney and he bulldozes past the first defender and is tackled at about after a 5-yard rush. And one thing I did mention is that they're doing a really good job of staying ahead of the chains, but not only on top of that, on all 3 of the Wildcat drives, they have ended up, or into the drive perhaps, on the Royse City side of the field. So also something we haven't seen in a lot of games.
That's right, and I failed to mention that was a Hootens Hardware first down they achieved. So here comes the Hootens Hardware 2nd down. It's 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats, and timeout is taken. Oh no, that's the end of the first quarter. It's 0-0 for the end of the first quarter. We're going to switch into the field. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. Our other play-by-play sponsors. City National Bank, Hooten's Hardware, Farm Country Inc. And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium where it's the start of the second quarter. The Wildcats are down 14-0 as the Royse City Bulldogs have really been moving the field and using a lot of that number one that's so popular on their side of the offense. But the Wildcats going to switch ends of the field. They're going to be moving left to right now. The Wildcats have the ball. It's going to be 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats, and they're on the 44-yard line into Bulldog territory.
2nd and 5 here for the Wildcats, and Douglas Deloney in the backfield with Matthew Mitchell for pass protection. Matthew Mitchell has to move out of the pocket and avoid some sacks, and wow, he is picked up and tackled back to the ground by a Royse City defender for a loss of 1, so it will technically be a sack on the play. And not what they wanted on 2nd and 5 as it turns to a 3rd and 6 for the Sulphur Springs offense. So I mentioned they're doing a pretty good job of staying ahead of the chains, but problems have arisen for this Wildcat offense on 2nd down. So we'll see if they can't right the ship on 3rd and 6 here at the Royse City 45-yard line. Matthew Mitchell looking to his sideline for a new play. He gets it. Again, Douglas Deloney's in the backfield with him. Weston Fields on the near sideline. C.J. Williams moving right. And wow, he moves right on the jet sweep, but the Bulldogs defense were all over that play. The second he got the handoff, he was pretty much swarmed up by the Bulldogs for a 6-yard loss. So it turns from a 3rd and 6 to a 5-yard loss to 4th and 11.
Yes, and so it's punt time for the Wildcats, of course. That play design looked like it was going to work, but I think the Bulldogs read right into that. So unfortunately, it's going to be a punt for the Wildcats coming up.
Oh, boy. And that's a high snap. It goes over Colby Albritton's head. He has to fall down on it. Or no, he doesn't. He's able to get the kick away miraculously and get it all the way to about the Royse City 42-yard line. So a bit of almost a disastrous play for the Wildcat special teams, but they're able to get the kickoff thanks to some heroics by Colby Albritton.
Wow, is all I've got to say. Colby Albritton gets my vote for a player of the game so far because that snap was just, as it happens, it was just too high, and there was a defender that was breathing down his neck. He had to have felt that defender trying to take him down, but he scrambled and got that kickoff, and only about an 8-yard punt for the Wildcats as it netted out, but it would have been disastrous if they had been sacked all the way back. He was all the way back on their own 20.
Absolutely. 2 running backs in the backfield for the Bulldogs, and he hands it off. I believe that was to number 1 Champ Petty Dozier again. Or no, it's not. It is, in fact, number 11, Sam Mitchum.
And he gets about 5 yards on the run. It's between the 1 and the 11 is kind of hard to see sometimes, especially when they're always giving it to number 1 because he's their favorite target as they come up to the line of scrimmage for 2nd down.
It's a little bit rude, too, because the numbers are in italics as well. Kenneth Spring rolling out right. He's looking to his wide receiver, who's all alone, and he got all the way to about the 15-yard line of Sulphur Springs, but the pass was overthrown by Kenneth Springs.
Yes,
and,
it went 45 yards in the air and was overthrown. So the quarterback has quite an arm on him, and he sailed that one down there. But thankfully for the Wildcats, it was overthrown because that would have been in the they would have taken that to the house for 6.
Oh, absolutely, and that's something Coach Owens talked about, was that how quarterback Kenneth Springs is able to take it on his feet, but also do it through the air and try to get a screen pass outright to, I believe that was number 2, Roan Carlson out wide, who was in the slot position, but it was incomplete as a Wildcat defender was all over it. So a 4th and 5, but and for a moment there, it looked like maybe quarterback Kenneth Springs was expecting a play on 4th down and expecting to go for it, but that is not so. Bulldog punt coming up.
Well, and this is good for the Wildcats. Looks like Colt Silman back to receive the kick. He's back on the Wildcat, about the 14, 15-yard line.
Worth noting that is the first 3 and out for the Bulldog offense tonight, and of course forced by Coach Kurt McCain's defense. But we've got another flag on the play, as we saw it more on the last drive, but penalties again coming. We'll see who it's called against. I'd imagine it's false start, but
they're moving it back against the Bulldogs, so
delay of game.
A delay of game. So
the result is the same, a 5-yard loss. So it'll make it from a 4th and 5 to a 4th and 10. So the Bulldogs still punting here. This time from their own 42-yard line. So Colby Albritton moving up as a result. And Stokes gets the kick, or I'm sorry, that's number 4, Colt Silman, who's back to receive. But nice punt there by Stokes, who gets it all the way to almost the Wildcat 25-yard line to the 26. And that is a...
Oh, you're going to do it? You're going to try to calculate that? Go ahead.
I'm going to try. All right. That's a 32-yard punt.
32-yard punt. Thank you, Ross. And the Wildcats will start the I should have been using my fancy calculator I have on my spreadsheet here to help you out on that, but that's why Ross had to do it in his head. 26-yard line for the Wildcats as they come out for 1st and 10. It's the Hooten's Hardware 1st 10. First down. Here they come.
And back on offense, C.J. Williams hands it off to, I believe that was, number 8, Malachi Rowland, who on the first handoff and the first play for Wildcats on offense on their 4th drive of the night, gets about 6 yards on the rush. They'll give him 7 yards on the rush for Malachi Rowland.
And the Wildcats come up quickly to the line of scrimmage, but it looks like we've got Matt Mitchell back now. Yes. Haven't seen Brady Driver in as quarterback yet tonight.
I think he might have been on one snap, but definitely haven't seen a whole lot of Brady Driver here tonight. And again, hands it off to Malachi Rowland, who bounces off a defender and is able to get some nice extra yardage. So he was at the 33-yard line, gets all the way up to a 41, so an 8-yard rush for number 8, Malachi Rowland.
And they come back up. They move the sticks. It's going to be another Hooten's Hardware first down for the Wildcats on their own 41. They get this first down. They'll be in Bulldog territory.
And Brady Driver in at quarterback, And he quickly dishes it out to number 1, Landon Fields on the outside, but looks like it bounced off the wide receiver's hands and flew upwards, so incomplete pass, make it a 1st and 10 to now a 2nd and 10. And Brady Driver still in at quarterback, Matthew Mitchell on the sideline at the moment. So Driver gets the play, gets his offense ready, wants to keep this Bulldog defense on their feet. Something that they've definitely done to the Wildcat defense, but Brady Driver hands it off to Malachi Rowland, or he keeps it. He fakes the handoff and is able to get, significant yardage, but it doesn't matter because number 10 for Royse City, that's Braylon Harris, pulled quarterback Brady Driver down with the face mask. So a big 15-yard penalty against this Bulldog defense coming up.
Great run, great scrambling by Brady Driver. And that's 15 yards from the end of the run, so that's going to be an 18-yard gain for the Wildcats. Of course, it's going to be 1st and 10. They're going to be well into Bulldog territory now as the ref is going to spot the ball on the Royse City 41-yard line. So great field position for the Wildcats as they get a new set of downs. Here comes your Hooten's Hardware first down.
Brady Driver still in at quarterback. And again, as a reminder, before we went to commercial break, the Bulldogs were forced to punt for the first time after getting a 3 and out, and hands it off to number, I believe that was 8, Malachi Rowland again, who's able to fall forward and get some significant yardage on the play, or I said significant. It's probably about 4 yards on the play, so make it a 2nd and medium at 2nd and 6.
Malachi Rowland's helmet comes off during the play, so he's going to come off for a play at least. And they've got Douglas Deloney in the backfield, it looks like. And Brady Driver still in as quarterback. We've got a couple of receivers on the far side, one on the near side.
Driver hands it off to J.J. Hall, who looks like maybe he might have tripped on a Bulldog defender at the line of scrimmage, so they might give him a gain. It's hard to tell from up here, but it looks like it'll be about 3rd and 6. So another big 3rd down for this Wildcat offense as they look to convert and potentially make this a 1-score game. From the Bulldog 37, quarterback Brady Driver and company. But it looks like a Bulldog defender jumped off sides. Driver will keep it himself. And wow, a big hit there from the defender as he's wrestled to the ground.
Yeah, that looked like a helmet-to-helmet hit for me as Brady Driver, but Driver's up. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Bulldogs. That's going to move the ball really close to the first down marker there, so it's just going to be about a yard for the Wildcats. It's going to be 3rd down, 3rd and 1, so this is crunch time for this Wildcat offense.
And
changing personnel, sorry.
Yeah, you're right, as C.J. Williams again in the Wildcat formation, so it hasn't been wildly successful against this Bulldog defense, but we'll see if he keeps it on this handoff, and he sure will. He hands it off to number 9, J.J. Hall, who gets more than enough yards for the first down. It looks about a 5-yard gain for number 9, J.J. Hall.
Yeah, great run right up the middle there, and he wasn't stopping until he got that first down, and he got it. It's going to be on the Bulldog 27-yard line now, 1st and 10, the Hootens Hardware first down.
Brady Driver tries to get the Bulldogs to jump off sides again, as they've been a little bit rough on this drive, giving up 2 penalties and try to get another there, but after getting the play from his sideline, he's set to get the snap. He gets it, and he hands it off to J.J. Hall, but wow, the Bulldogs were there just as soon as Hall got it, so that'll be about a 2-yard loss on the play, and definitely not what they were hoping on 1st and 10.
Yeah, the kind of stopped the momentum of the Wildcats right there. They're just going to have to calm down, take their time. The play clock, 25 seconds. The 6:08 and ticking on the game clock, and the Wildcats are down 14-0.
2nd and 12 here for the Wildcats on offense, and Driver fakes the handoff, and he's looking to Weston Fields in the end zone. Is he there? He is! Touchdown! There is a flag on the play, but I'm sure it'll be called for pass interference against the defense, which should be declined and make it a 1-possession game for the Wildcats.
Well, the Wildcats are running down there like they're going to either go for 2 or they're going to do some kind of extra point. So they knew what it was, and they're going to decline that penalty. What a great reception by Weston Fields, as Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats for putting 6 points on the board.
So Ariano, the kicker again for Sulphur Springs tonight. He gets it. And it looks like it's good, and good it is, as it officially becomes a 1-possession game with just a few seconds under 6 minutes to go here in the first half, as the Wildcats trail 14-7. And when we return, we'll see if that defense can't force a big stop and potentially tie this game up here coming up. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium, as the Sulphur Springs Wildcats got their first touchdown on the night, which came here in the 2nd quarter, as quarterback, and I believe what should be his first full drive as starting quarterback for the Wildcats tonight, as Brady Driver connected with Weston Fields on a 29-yard explosive play to the house. A pass interference penalty was called against the Bulldogs, but Coach Greg Owens wisely declined it. And after a successful extra point, the Wildcats only trail by 7 now versus the Royse City Bulldogs, the undefeated Royse City Bulldogs, 14-7.
I think the Bulldogs are kind of surprised. The Wildcats are giving them kind of a challenge, as the Wildcats line up for the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. They're still moving left to right in this 2nd quarter. 5:51 left in the half.
So Ariano gets the kickoff. He kicks it deep to about the 16-yard line for Royse City, and Champ Petty-Dozier tries to make a move, but is quickly tackled by a number of Wildcat defenders on the return. But there is a flag on the play, so could be called against the Wildcats, and the last thing that they want to do right here is give up an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty with momentum completely on their side.
Yes, could have been a little excessive tackling after the whistle there. Of course, we can't hear the whistle up here, but well, it was a face mask, and that's against the Wildcats. So they're going to mark off 15 yards there. That's going to give them, we're almost to the 20, so that's going to put them almost to the 35. They're going to mark it, looks like, about the 34-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for those Royse City Bulldogs. A little bit better field position than we had hoped, but still this Wildcat defense has been doing pretty good tonight, so we'll see what's in store.
Yeah, on their last time on the field, this defense forced a 3-and-out, the first time doing so tonight. And wow, that is a huge tackle for a loss there. That's number 18, Cordarian Bull Turner, on what very well might be the defensive play on the game, as he's able to swarm the wide receiver for a 4-yard loss.
That's got my vote so far, because they passed it into the backfield there, and Cordarian Bull Turner was having nothing of it. He swarmed and wrapped him up and took him to the ground. It's a big 4-yard loss for the Bulldogs. It's 2nd and 14.
So 2 running backs in the backfield for Royse City. Champ Petty-Dozier moves out, and then he moves back in, but they're going to be called for a false start. I believe that'll be called against Petty-Dozier.
Yep.
So another penalty against this Royse City team. So
that's going to make it 2nd and 19 for the Bulldogs. And they're pushing one more 5-yard penalty, and they'll be pushed back from where they started before that 15-yard penalty against the Wildcats. So good news for the Wildcats. Taking their time on the play this time. The Bulldogs are getting that play called in slowly. 12 seconds, 10 seconds on the play clock.
Scoreboard says 3rd and 19, but we've got a 2nd and 19 on the field. A deep pass incoming from Kenneth Springs. And Colt Silman is called for pass interference. He had really good coverage, but he didn't turn his head around, and as a result, a pass interference penalty will be called. The good news is this isn't the NFL where it would be placed at the spot of the foul,
right?
But it will still be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, so they turned to 2nd and 19, I think, was the correct. The scoreboards may be off a down there with the penalties. So real good coverage by the Wildcat defender, but the officials thought it was a little too good, and there was a little pushing and shoving a little late down the field there, and so that's going to be marked off 15 yards against the Wildcats, which would not normally give them a first down, but with that penalty, they get an automatic first down. So that's going to put them right at the 40-yard line in their own territory. Still working right to left here, the Bulldogs are, and it's going to be 1st and 10 on their own 40-yard line.
1st and 10. He fakes the handoff to Mitchum, and Kenneth Springs takes off, and he gets more than 10 yards. He gets 12 yards on the rush. An impressive run there by the quarterback, Kenneth Springs, to put them on the Sulphur Springs side of the 50.
I didn't look at their roster, and some of the rosters have height and weight, and some of them don't on the different teams. I'll admit I didn't look, but their quarterback's a big young man, and they got called for a penalty while I was talking there, and I missed the penalty. But more importantly, it looks like it was. It's going to be. Looks like it's going to be a holding call at the spot of the foul, which is going to move it back about 7 yards. So that's going to give them 2nd and about, scoreboard says 20, but it's about 17.
So this is the 5th play on this drive, and the previous 3 all had penalties.
Yes,
so it's been a messy drive and one of those penalties was against Sulphur Springs on a pass interference call. But the previous play was a holding, and now after another play for no gain on the play, 3 yards on the rush, so it'll be 3rd and long at 3rd and 17 for Royse City at their own 33-yard line. And fakes the handoff. He's going to be looking deep, and he is looking deep. Oh, my goodness. A Wildcat defender was draped all over the wide receiver, number 7, Jonah Roberson.
I'm going to say that the Bulldog drew the foul on that one. As he saw the ball in the air, he stopped and put his shoulder into the Wildcat defender, and kind of drawing the foul there. There's flags all over the field, actually. This is one of those Neil Barker laundry tie-ins that we could be making at halftime from Town and Country Cleaners. But
ineligible man down the field on the offense.
Okay, ineligible man.
Interference on the defense.
Penalties offset.
Penalties will offset, replay 2nd down.
So they're going to let them replay second down after that holding penalty that took them back. It's going to be 2nd and 17, so no harm, no foul, because there were fouls on both sides. And good news for the Wildcats. And I will have to say that was quite dramatic. The receiver on the Bulldogs there really drew the foul against the Wildcats. So maybe he's in drama as well.
Oh, boy. And it looks
another
like
penalty.
No, I think, yeah, timeout called on the field. I thought maybe, they had a delay of game, but David Petroff was quick enough to get a timeout called, and so we're going to take a timeout with these two teams, and when we return, we'll see how the end of the first half shakes out, as there's just about less than 4 minutes left here in the first half. We'll be right back.
KSST would like to thank our play-by-play sponsors, especially want to tell you about the sponsors we have for those folks that are watching and listening through our YouTube streaming channel. CPI Imaging, Saputo Foods, a strong supporter of Wildcat football.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we are pretty close to wrapping up the first half here. The Wildcats currently trail 14-7. Royse City does have the ball, but they've got themselves a pretty long situation as before we went to the timeout. It's been something of a messy drive for both teams, honestly, as we've got 2 penalties called against the Wildcats and 3 called against Royse City. So a bit of a messy drive here, but again, a 2nd and 17 for the Bulldogs at the Royse City 33-yard line. So the Wildcats, no doubt, going to be looking to potentially maybe get a sack here. If not, allow as few yardage as possible to make it a 3rd and very difficult for the Bulldog offense.
Yes, it's certainly crunch time for that Wildcat defense.
And he fakes a handoff to Mitchum, rolls to his right. He's looking to a wide receiver who's all alone. He's at the 40-yard line, and he's able to break some tackles. 40, 35, 30, 25, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. That was number 20, Nicholas Weaver, the tight end, who made it.
Yep, good luck.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we are now at the 21-yard line, so
right.
that is...
That's 29 to the 50,
lines.
yeah. And then, about a 46 yards, is that what you said?
Yep, 46 yards, my goodness.
Right. Pushed out of bounds by Riley Hammonds for the defense on the Wildcats.
So a nice play there by the tight end for the Bulldogs, Nicholas Weaver. And wow, Champ Petty-Dozier, I looked up, and the next thing I knew, he was already got the yardage to gain on the first down. An impressive play there by the preseason district MVP.
Huge run there, gives them well inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal for these Royse City Bulldogs on the Wildcat 6-yard line. So it's time for the Wildcat defense to dial it up.
And he hands it off to Mitchum, and he breaks a tackle, but can't get through. Or maybe he can. Yes, it will be a touchdown for the Bulldogs.
Well, they're calling it short. One's calling it short. One's... Let's see who has jurisdiction here on this. They're gonna say he's short on that. They're gonna mark it about the 2-yard line. So it's gonna be 2nd and goal from the 2. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna have to get out my trusty.
4 guys in the backfield, but Mitchum gets it and he takes it in the end zone. No question there. It's a touchdown for the Bulldogs as it goes back to a 2-possession game with the Wildcats now trailing 20-7. Extra point coming up.
2:42 left in this half, and as we look forward to the Wildcat band performing, man oh man, that Wildcat band, we love to hear them at halftime, and the Bulldogs pull ahead, like Ross said, 20-7, and they've got their kicker back out there. No 2-point, nobody's going for 2 points yet tonight.
Extra kick is up, and it's good. So will be a 2-possession game at 21-7. The Royse City Bulldogs lead, and when we return, we'll see if the Wildcats can't respond with another touchdown coming up.
And we're back at Wildcat football here at Gerald Prim Stadium, where the Wildcats are getting lined up and getting back to receive the Jayhawk Chevrolet kickoff. Unfortunately, that means the Bulldogs have scored, and they have put 21 points on the board tonight, as the Wildcats have put 7 points on the board. Pretty close game, really, between the offense and the defense. A lot of penalties on the Bulldog side. They're showing, looks like what they're going to be like an onside kick. 2:42 left in this half as the Bulldogs come up to the ball.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I mentioned as the Bulldogs kick it off, that's number 1 Landon Fields set to get it back, and he got it at the 20. He gets through a couple of defenders, but is swarmed up by a lot of Bulldogs at about the Wildcat 31-yard line.
Yeah, good return by the Wildcats there to get back up. Still going to be starting this drive on their own 31-yard line. The Hootens Hardware first down coming up, and they're going to try to make something happen in very quick time, as now there's 2:35 left on the clock. The Wildcats have a couple of their timeouts left, and we'll see if they can't move the ball down the field and put some points on the board before the half ends.
So what the Wildcats need to do here, as quarterback Brady Driver hands it off to, I believe that's, number 3, Douglas Deloney. But as I was saying, is what the Wildcats need to do here is take off as much time off the clock as possible, score a touchdown, go into halftime, and remember, the Wildcats deferred on the coin toss, so they will get the ball to start the second half. So if they're able to get a touchdown here, take as much time as possible off the clock, and do the same thing to start the third quarter, this game will be all tied up. Brady Driver sweeping left, and he's looking to his wide receiver, and he gets him for about a 4-yard gain. And yes, that's number 13, Cable Glenn, on the reception. Great snag by Cable Glenn. That was it's a good pass, but it was a little low, and he snagged it and got wrapped up with a defender. So that's going to make it. Was it 3rd and 3, maybe? Yep. Looks about. I'm waiting for the scoreboard operator to catch up over there. Taking their time on the play. The clock ticking down. 1:40 left in the half. Wildcats definitely looking to avoid potentially having to punt the ball right back to this offense, but we'll see what they can do here. He fakes the handoff. He's looking to his wide receiver, Cable Glenn, who's got it all the way at the 45-yard line for Sulphur Springs. So that's at least a 5-yard reception on the play.
A great catch by Cable Glenn again. So new set of downs for the Wildcats. Are on their own 45-yard line. Here comes the Hootens Hardware first down. In the backfield with quarterback Brady Driver is Douglas Deloney, and he's sweeping right. He's got Douglas Deloney coming out of the flat, but he wanted C.J. Williams, who got about to the Royse City 35-yard line on a post route, but just a little bit too high. Had too much altitude on that throw from Driver, so incomplete pass, and 2nd and 10 coming up. Brady Driver was a little pressured on that. Good scrambling. He got away from the defender there and avoided a sack, but he was trying to throw on the run, and as you would expect, kind of overthrew the ball when you're doing that. So yeah, it's tough when you're on the run, and just like you were saying, and you try to throw it from your back foot, as Douglas Deloney gets the handoff and is able to kind of bulldoze his way through a number of defenders and get about 4 yards on the rush. Yep, good. Wildcats are moving down the field. 56 seconds and counting as the Wildcats are on the 49-yard line in their own territory, as they're just a yard or two from getting into Bulldog territory, but with time running out. 3rd and 6 here. 49-yard line for Sulphur Springs. He's got a lot of pressure, quarterback Brady Driver does. He sweeps to his right and is quickly tackled down after a nice second effort by number 28 for Royse City. That's Trenton Staten, but he will be just a yard short of the first down, and clock's still ticking here for Sulphur Springs. So kind of an interesting decision with still 2 timeouts left that they've continued to let this clock run. But 19 seconds left on the clock, and they sure aren't showing a whole lot of hurry getting back up to the line. So sure not. Looks like they're just trying to keep this safe, and kind of an interesting call by Coach Greg Owens and his program. Well, it's 4th down. He's going to let the clock run down, and they're probably going to kick it. 3 seconds left on the clock as Greg Owens finally takes a timeout. The Wildcats come to this side of the field to talk with Greg Owens, see what the plan's going to be. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we've got the final seconds of the first half of the Sulphur Springs Wildcats football team's 6th game hosting the Royse City Bulldogs. It's been a very good game up to this point as it stayed within a 1-2 possession score this entire game, and Sulphur Springs unquestionably looking the best they have all season long tonight.
Looks like they're just going to, I don't know, maybe run out the clock. They didn't want to give the ball back to the Bulldogs, so Greg Owens let the clock run down where there's only 3 seconds left in the half, and even though it's 4th down, 4th and 1, the Bulldogs are looking for a Hail Mary pass here in the backfield, and that's what they're going to try.
Oh, boy.
So,
and he quickly dishes out to C.J. Williams. He's got a couple of guys in front of him, but, wow, he's able to break a couple of tackles, but not able to get anywhere near close to a touchdown. So that will end the first half. The Wildcats trail by 2 touchdowns, 21-7.
well, so that's going to do it for this first half. We're going to get set up here in a moment for that. Listen to the Wildcat band, but it's 0-0 for this first half. 21-7. The Bulldogs over the Wildcats. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. And we're back at the start of halftime. Ross, it looks like the Royse City Bulldog band is coming out. They're kind of slow to come out, it looks like. Well, they're going to be lined up here at the far end of the field as the Royse City drill team is coming on the far side of the field as well. So a little slow getting set up, working their way around the Christus Mother Francis athletic trainer trailer that we toured before the game, so making their way around that may delay them a little bit, but so far kind of a competitive first half. I like the way the Wildcats have looked. Couple penalties, some pass interference penalties. One that was probably a little too much coverage on a Wildcat, and the other one I think the defender drew the foul, like I said earlier. But so far a pretty good game. The change up on the quarterback. We've had Matt Mitchell, we've had Brady Driver, we've had the Wildcat formation that you like so much with, is that C.J. Williams? Yeah,
sure is.
Yeah, and so I loved, haven't seen an onside kick, haven't seen anybody go for 2 points on the, they haven't needed to. Score didn't reflect that to go for 2 after a touchdown. So score remains 21-7, and kind of like the other games for the Wildcats, it's kind of the score does not quite accurately reflect at how well the Wildcats are playing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as I mentioned before we went to halftime, it stayed within a 1 to 2 possession game. That's just about the entirety of this game. But just a few times now and then, as we kind of saw in the Kaufman loss, is that a number of plays just didn't really go the Wildcats' way and kind of unfortunately put them behind. But, and I've said this before during this broadcast, this is without a doubt, again, they do trail by 2 scores here at halftime, but this is without a doubt the best they have looked all season long. And you've seen it. This Wildcat offense has moved down the field all game long.
Yep.
Their defense has been able to get stops. were able to stop a 3-and-out. Were able to force a 3-and-out of this potent Bulldog offense, in which 70 to 75% is run on the ground, which is just going to kill and gas your defense.
Sure.
But just on both sides of the ball, we've seen a lot of good things from the Wildcats, and the good news is that they didn't get a touchdown going into halftime to make this, again, a one-possession game, potentially at 21-14, but they do get the ball to start the second half, so they can do it then and potentially bring it back to a one-possession game. So that's no doubt what Coach Owens is telling to his team right now, is that you're facing up against an undefeated team in Royse City, 5-0 overall, 2-0 in district, and you are hanging with the best of them right now. And,
right.
And for the Wildcats to be able to do that, again, like I said, in Kaufman versus the Lions, and then keep it competitive against a number of tough foes in Ennis and Lovejoy, I mean, this Wildcat team continues to improve week to week, and we're seeing a lot of confidence from the quarterback play tonight.
You certainly wouldn't say that there's an 0-5 team going up to against a 5-0 team. It just doesn't look like that. It's been a very close contest, and they've got some tremendous talent on the other side of the ball, obviously. With that number one and I don't know if he's a junior or a senior, but he does a fantastic job running the ball, carrying the ball, and pass reception. I mean, the whole bit. So anyway, that's like Ross said. Greg Owens is probably commending his team in the locker room right now for what they've done so far, and making a few changes. We'll try to figure out what those changes are going to be as we're listening to the Bulldog band get set up in the background. You know, there's more and more props with these bands. The drill team is performing for the Bulldogs. We're going to take another break, hear from a few of our sponsors. We'll be back in just a moment, and we'll talk more about what gosh, don't you wish we could listen in on in the locker room at halftime to see what he says? Because we're always guessing, but you know that's it's kind of a private deal. They're having a private discussion in the locker room. We wouldn't want to interfere with that. We'll take a break and hear from a few of our sponsors. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium. It's halftime here at the as the Wildcats trail the Royse City Bulldogs 21-7. It's been a close contest so far. We've seen good things out of the Wildcats. As we're listening very quietly in the background to the Royse City band play as the not their showpiece right now. They're playing in support of their drill team, average size drill team there on the field. We've noticed that some of the number of members of the drill teams as some of the other opposing teams have just gotten to be fewer and fewer we're always interested in the Blue Blazes. The 60th line of the Blue Blazes will be coming out soon. And they've already got all the props up here, Ross, for this band performance that's coming out for Royse City. And they've got a lot of signage, and that looks like a trampoline there. I don't know what that is in the middle. It's Up in the Clouds is the name of their theme. So these bands getting more and more sophisticated, but it just seems like no one can outdo our local band, the Wildcat Band, under the direction of Spencer Emmert. So they are always getting fantastic scores. And I think they did 2 competitions in one weekend or one day or something. We got an email on that, and they're doing well. So, but back to football, we're always trying to guess what Greg Owens is saying, and we know he's praising his offense and defense both for holding their own against this undefeated Royse City Bulldog football team, and they're doing very well, 21-7. Even though they trail, they've had some good plays, some unfortunate penalties, but a lot of penalties on the other side of the ball, and I'm hoping we see more of that to work in the Wildcats' favor, because you think it's their hurry-up offense? What do you think's the cause of that?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like maybe it could be their hurry-up offense, but it seems like a lot of times they just are in an illegal formation or just aren't exactly set. Like, it's just like you were saying, it's almost like they're trying to beat Sulphur Springs by forcing them up to the line so quickly, but they're kind of just shooting themselves in the foot. So kind of a peculiar set of plays there, but I'd like to kind of move over to the volleyball team.
Oh, yeah, please.
The Lady Cats volleyball team were out in Texarkana today and taking on an always tough Texas High Lady Tiger team. They came into the match tonight 7-0 in district. The Texas High Lady Tigers are the only team in District 15-5A still undefeated, and Sulphur Springs unfortunately lost to the Texas High Lady Tigers. They lost game 1 and won sets 2 and 3, but then unfortunately lost sets 4 and then the shortened set 5 to lose in a 5-set heartbreaker. So Coach Bailey Dorner's volleyball team have been in a number of 5-set matches this year, and unfortunately 2 5-set matches against Texas High, and even more unfortunate, both 5-set matches against Texas High were losses for Coach Bailey Dorner's team. So Texas High now 8-0 in District 15-5A, and the loss in Texarkana for Coach Bailey Dorner's team puts them at 5-3. And Hallsville did manage to beat. Hallsville was in Mount Pleasant tonight taking on the Lady Tigers, and Hallsville was able to beat Mount Pleasant to be now 6-2 in district. And then Marshall is hosting Pine Tree, and barring a major upset on the Lady Pirates' part, Marshall will be, as far as I can tell, 5-2 in district. And so Texas High 8-0, Hallsville 6-2, Marshall 5-2, and Sulphur Springs sitting pretty comfortably at that number 4 spot, which again, number 4 is still good enough to get into the playoffs at 5-3. So a tough loss in Texarkana to the Texas High Lady Tigers, but I'm sure they're already here or enjoying the rest of their Friday night. But I just want to say, again, a tough loss for the Lady Cats volleyball team, but congratulations as always for Coach Bailey Dorner's squad for continuously fighting and never giving up, much like what we're seeing tonight with the Wildcats football team.
I've got some other scores for you in football around our district. The Ennis Lions are over North Forney 21-7 at halftime. Corsicana is leading Greenville 17-7, and they're playing in Greenville tonight. And of course, you know that the Royse City Bulldogs are 21-7 over the Wildcats right now. And then a final already, because the game was probably played last night. The Forney Jackrabbits, that's Forney High School, not North Forney, just regular Forney High School, beat Crandall 32-30. Very close game down there. And with they have several schools and only one stadium down in Forney. So some of those games are played on Thursday night, just like the final game of our season when we go down there will be played on that Thursday night. I think that's November 4th. I don't pretend to know the schedule that far in advance, but that's what happens down in Forney. The Royse City Bulldog Band still on the field. We'll wait for the Wildcat Band to come out. So we're caught up with the scores around the district. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back here at halftime at Gerald Prim Stadium in just a few minutes.
And welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we are sandwiched right about in the middle of halftime here. The Royse City Bulldogs band, they're having a wonderful performance, showcasing their UYL show. And the name of their show is Up in the Clouds. And we are here in... we're just about wrapping Movement 3 up, so just about near the end of the Royse City band halftime show. So coming up next, we'll have the Wildcat band, and I have to say, man, oh man, that Wildcat band, they continue to impress me week in and week out.
They always do, and I'm so disappointed here as one of the props and the apparatus here on the Royse City band. That was not a trampoline. It's some kind of little round stage with a big blue dot in the middle. I was just so hoping there was going to be some trampoline action there, but no, they've got a couple of the soloists on a little stage there. I'm just amazed at how much paraphernalia they have to bring, and the Wildcat band does it too. They have a lot of props and a lot of pictures and signage and all kinds of things that work into their theme, and that's wrapping up for the the Royse City. They're going into extra innings there. The Royse City band, is just when I thought it was getting quiet, they changed direction and played another song. Our halftime sponsors here for Wildcat football are Galleon Insurance, Sulphur Springs Floral, Old Neil over at Town and Country Cleaner. He's keeping it clean over there. And Jordan's Place Pediatrics, Hall Oil Company, and Sulphur Springs Dodge, our proud sponsors here at halftime. So always supporting the Blue Blazes and the Wildcat band. So they just don't, some of our sponsors just don't stop at football. They keep on going and sponsor all of the extracurricular activities of these fine young students. So we're going to take another quick break and be back in just a minute or two as the Royse City Bulldog band is wrapping it up, and the Wildcat band is standing at the ready in the end zone here at the south end of the field. So it won't be long, and we'll be able to hear from the band. But we'll take a break and be back with you in just a moment. And we're back here at Gerald Prim Stadium where the Wildcat band, first the 60th line of the Blue Blazes will be taking the field, and Wildcat band will be backing them up. And also the Wildcat band will be lining up here on the percussion section. Will be getting all arranged on the near side of the field as the rest of the band will be lined up awaiting their entrance on the far side of the field. We'll listen in as the announcer gets ready to announce this 60th line of the Sulphur Springs Blue Blazes.
Proudly presents the distinguished 60th line of the Blue Blazes as they strike up the band. Sergeants for this year are Janiyah Gatlin, McKenna Lowder, Desiree Hall, and Calissa Johnson. officers for the 60th line are Junior Lieutenant Sally Spraggins, Junior Lieutenant Emily James, Junior Lieutenant Jocelyn Yanez, Junior Lieutenant Olivia Worth, Co-Captain Macy Peppers, and Captain Haven Walker Moore. The Blazers would also like to recognize their spirit girl, Jocelyn Davila, and their outstanding Blazer of the Week, Braylon Pace. The Blazers are under the direction of Meredith Dow and Assistant Director Kenny McGraw. Tonight, the Blazers will be performing a colorful hoop routine to We Got the Beat. Attention to the 50-yard line. The band is being led onto the field by drum majors Joe Villarino, Clayton Boykin, and Catherine De La Rosa. Ladies and gentlemen, here they come. Man, oh man, that Wildcat band. Tonight, the band is proud to continue its 2021 performance season with our show, Be Our Guest. The Wildcat band would like to recognize this week's section of the week and Spirit Stick recipient, the trombones. And this week's band members of the week are Hannah Jones and Andrew Galarza. So, join us tonight in the kitchen as we prepare the meal for an exciting season. Ladies and gentlemen, Sulphur Springs High School is proud to present the Wildcat Band. Spencer Griffin, Steve Proctor, and Connor Dawes. Tonight's soloists were Tyler Burnett, Don Moser, Matthew Sherman, Alexis Villarino, Jackson Medeline, Colby Aldrin, Alex Patella, Amy Hughes, Joel Arena, and Rick Bernardson. The Wildcat Band will see our Royse City Prince band tomorrow as we travel there for the contest. The performance time is 3:15. This is the voice of the Wildcat Band saying, "Go Wildcats!"
And another great performance by the Wildcat Band. They're certainly their UIL show that they've been practicing. They're going to competition again. Doing a great job as the halftime clock expires and the Wildcats and the Bulldogs are both ready to get back on the field and get this second half underway. Here come the Wildcats. They're excited. They look fired up. Number 99 leading the charge out here for the Wildcats to get on the field as we await for the Royse City Bulldogs to come out on the field as well. So 21-7, the Wildcats trail the Bulldogs. It's been a pretty good game so far, and I think the Wildcats have held their own against this undefeated team so far this season, the Royse City Bulldogs, and a lot going on up in the press box this week with a lot of folks from the hospital realm, from the hospital foundation and the hospital itself, all invited up into the press box as after they toured the trailer over there that Ross and I got to tour. Then some of the board members and foundation members and school board members toured the trailer as well, and then they all came up to be guests of the superintendent, Mike Lamb. And I had to tell Mike Lamb, Ross, and some of the school board members that we're very thankful for our press box here, because the other places we go, not so much. So
so the Friday before last, we were in Ennis and lost to the Lions. And something y'all were talking about is how the press box was modeled the press box at Gerald Prim was modeled after the one at Ennis Lion Memorial Stadium. And one thing we couldn't help but notice was, and this is just a nitpick of the Lions Memorial Stadium, but there were only 2 exits. So it was about as bottlenecked as could be. I mean, we're talking worse than I-30 and Rockwall on a Friday.
Absolutely.
It was brutal out there. So that was the one downside. It was a beautiful stadium, big, very spacious. They were very accommodating. Mm-hmm. But and then you've got your Lovejoys and your and stadiums that are almost seem like they're in the middle of nowhere, like you're just driving 1 minute and then, there's a football stadium. It's very interesting, but not out here. No, you can pretty much see it from the interstate.
Right. Well, we're very fortunate to have this wonderful press box, and we thank Mike Lamb and the school board for providing this wonderful facility for us to work in. Here comes the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. The Wildcats back to receive, and he snags it about the 15 there, Ross.
That's Landon Fields, and he's got some nice green grass ahead of him as he, you said he was at the 15, so he got about a 17-yard return on the kick.
Yeah, really a good return there. That's going to get the Wildcats up on their own 32-yard line to start their first and 10, their Hootens Hardware first down. As they come out, they're fired up. They come right up to the line. They're ready to go.
Yeah, as they should be, and they're going to have to be fired up if they want to win this second half and hopefully, potentially, win the game as well. But we'll see what they can do on the first drive of the second half with quarterback Matthew Mitchell in at quarterback, and wow, he is sacked big time by number 88 for Royse City, and number 88 being Hayden Hayes, and that's a player to watch for this Bulldog defense.
Yeah, he tried to hand that off to J.J. Hall, and he faked the handoff to J.J. Hall and kept it, and he was dropping back, and 88 snuck through the line there and wrapped him up, took him to the ground for about a 4-yard loss.
Yeah, you're right, and Hayden Hayes, he's got 51 tackles and 5 sacks on the season, and make it 6 now. So we'll see what the Wildcats can do on a second and long, and wow, wow, a beautiful pass from quarterback Matthew Mitchell to Cable Glenn.
Cable Glenn is on fire tonight. That's at least his third reception that I remember, maybe more. He's snagged that, and it's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. They come up. Oh, they're on their own 44-yard line. It's going to be another Hooten's Hardware first down. There they go.
C.J. Williams behind center again, and quarterback Matthew Mitchell is in the slot position. Or I'm sorry. No, he is left in a trips formation on the right side of the offensive line. And C.J. Williams takes off with it, sweeping right to the right side of the line, and he is picked up and pushed back down to the ground for only about a 2 to 3 yard gain. So in previous games, we've seen a lot of C.J. Williams in that Wildcat formation I keep bringing up, in which he takes the snap from the center. But in this game tonight against the Royse City Bulldogs, it hasn't worked the way it has in previous weeks.
Yeah, then they had Luke Caton in as a tight end on that last play. I don't see him in on this play, a different formation.
And hands it off to number 9, J.J. Hall. And J.J. Hall, as quick as he always is, as he's able to make a nice cut back into the line, but only is able to get about 2 or 3 yards. So Wildcats already less than 2 minutes into the second half. And while they were able to get a first down in their last set of downs, already facing a 3rd and 6. So a big test for this Wildcat offense in the second half.
Yeah, it's, the Wildcats needed to make something. They've got 3 receivers here on this side and 1 on the far side showing pass.
And lots of pressure incoming, but he's able to get the pass off on the screen, and it looks like he's got some green grass ahead of him, and he sure does for a first down. And that's number 3, Douglas Deloney, who was able to get what should be close to a 10-yard reception on the play.
Wow, what a fantastic, I'm just going to level-headed play by Matt Mitchell there, as he got swarmed by the Royse City defenders there, and he threw that pass and was able to keep his head and get it for another Hooten's Hardware first down.
And that's the great thing about great quarterbacks, is that they can wait and let the play develop as long as possible before they have to make that throw. Matthew Mitchell looking to throw again. He's got Weston Fields deep.
My
goodness.
It looked like he snagged it. That was about a 40-yard pass, and it looked like he had it, but the ref had a little bit better look for it. He's a little closer and must have hit the ground, and so that's going to be incomplete. But what a huge bomb. He was wide open, but then the pass went a little wide, and he turned around and just couldn't come up with it. But what a great effort.
Yeah.
That was Brady Driver, wasn't it?
I believe.
16 here. Mm-hmm.
Matthew Mitchell in at quarterback, and he quickly gets it out to Cable Glenn, and Cable Glenn proving to be a very consistent target for this quarterback, as he gets about 5 yards on the reception.
This has been his game tonight, and that incomplete pass, that was a quarterback to quarterback, because Brady Driver was in as a receiver. No, I'm sorry, that's Weston Fields, who had, now he's turned, I can see his number better. That was Weston Fields on the incomplete pass. Well, I'd like to see another bomb like that. I'd like to see them connect and get it into the end zone. 3rd and 6, Mitchell sweeping right, and he's looking at, Weston Fields, and he had him, but looks like maybe Fields didn't get his hands on the ball the way he wanted to. And then number 25 for Royse City, Hayden Adams, came in on the tackle to force the incompletion. So 4th and 6, and this Wildcat offense staying on the field, as they know if they don't get a touchdown this drive, this Royse City Bulldog offense has every opportunity to march right down the field and score another touchdown. So a huge play for this Wildcat offense as they look to stay in this game, down 2 possessions. Yeah, that's big 4th and 6, and who have they got in as quarterback this time?
Matthew Mitchell, and he fakes a handoff. He's looking all the way to Weston Fields, and he's got Weston Fields, who's able to break a tackle, or not quite able to break a tackle, but still just outside of the Royse City 30 at the 31-yard line. A big first down for Weston Fields in this Wildcat offense.
But way to go, Wildcats there, as they get another Hooten's Hardware first down. They're moving down a little deeper into Bulldog territory. They're going to be on the Bulldog 32-yard line.
And Coach Owens heeding my words about taking his time on this drive on offense.
He listens.
Oh, yeah, he knows. He knows every word. Matthew Mitchell looking deep again. He's got Weston Fields, who had number 25 for Royse City beat. That was Hayden Adams.
There's two Haydens on the defense, I think, for Royse City, and that's the other one. We just couldn't connect with Weston Fields. It was a pretty good pass, but real good route. Weston had him beat, but just couldn't come up with it. So got two receivers out on the far side. Looks like Cable Glenn and number 5, and then on the near side, number 27.
So we'll see what the Wildcats can do on 2nd and 10 after that incompletion. And on the previous play, quarterback Matthew Mitchell had his wide receiver open on the post route as he was streaking towards the end zone. But on plays like that, you've got to put the ball up high and high enough to where the defensive back can't interfere with the pass,
right?
But not high enough to where the wide receiver can't come down with it. So it's a very tough and minuscule window. And Matthew Mitchell tried to make the most of it, but just couldn't connect there. And after a quick play for a 1-yard gain, 3rd and 9 for the Wildcats. And he hands it off to Douglas Deloney, who barrels forward into his offensive line, but they can't get the push they want as they only get about maybe 3 yards on the play, maybe 4, as it looks to be about a 4th and 5, maybe 6 upcoming for the Wildcats offense.
Yeah, it's going to make it tough for the Wildcats here. Adam Peckham was in as receiver there for the last couple of plays. He's coming off. And then we've got Weston Fields is back in. On the far side over there, we've got number 14 receiver. That's Reed Williams.
So the Wildcats offense staying on the field for a 4th and 6, less than 7 minutes to go, trailing by 2 scores at the Royse City 27. This is a huge play if they want to stay in this game. Matthew Mitchell's pressured, and he is taken down for a sack. That is a huge sack, which will be a turnover on downs for this Wildcat offense. And that 4th down conversion didn't go the way that they hoped to, like the previous 4th and 6.
He scrambled there and was trying to make something out of that and keeping cool under pressure like he always does. But of course, that blitz from the Royse City Bulldogs, they were out to get him, and they took him down. So it does go over on downs. 6:34 left in this third quarter. The Bulldogs 21, the Wildcats 7, as the Bulldogs start about their own 34-yard line.
That's 2 straight drives for the Wildcats offense that have resulted in 0 points. So a tough break for them here in the second half as quarterback Kenneth Springs takes off and gets about 3 yards on the design QB rush. But one thing that is good about that previous drive, I know they wanted points. I know they didn't want to settle for a field goal. They wanted 6. But the good news is they took almost half of a quarter off on that opening drive for the third quarter. So doing the exact thing that Royse City and the Bulldog offense likes to do their opponents, but they flip the table on them. So we'll see what the Royse City Bulldogs can do after the Wildcats turn the ball over on downs. And number 1 champ Petty Dozier takes off and is able to make a couple of nice 2nd and 3rd moves to get what should be just about a 1st down for the Bulldog offense.
Yeah, that looks like they're going to give him forward progress there and give him a 1st down. They haven't moved the change yet. And now they're going to... Well, I guess they're going to call it short. Nope, now they're moving the chains. The chain gang over there is a little late in getting the memo. And they're letting the time click off the clock here. 5:55 left in this third quarter. No surprise they gave it to number 1, huh?
Another false start on the field, and the Wildcat defense, well, just about all 11 were pointing.
Yep, they were all celebrating as they know that the Royse City Bulldogs are going to get pushed back 5 more yards. It's going to make it 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs. They're going to be on their own 39-yard line. They make this 1st down. They're going to be in Wildcat territory, but the Wildcat defense is dialing it up, ready to stop them.
So on a 1st and 15 after the false start, champ Eddie Dozier takes it and he sweeps left, and he's able to get, well, about 5, maybe close to 7 yards on the rush, but there are flags all over the field, one in the backfield, which should be holding, but then one was thrown very late by a ref after the play was over. So if there's going to be some flags on the play, they might offset here, but we'll find out from the refs.
Austin Cheney on the tackle there as he pushed him out of bounds. I don't think that was a late hit, or unsportsmanlike or whatever, tackling after they're out of bounds. I didn't see it that way, but maybe. We're going to get the call from the officials. All the striped shirts are down there in a little huddle. They're talking about it, trying to figure out what they can remember why they threw the flag.
Lots of discussion. I imagine it will be offsetting penalties, but we'll find out here.
2 fouls.
Both bases got holding on the offense.
Okay.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense.
Yep. So, holding on the offense, they're going to mark that off. And then they set a dead ball foul
against the Wildcats.
And they're going to turn around and step that off, going the other way. So, instead of using that tricky addition and subtraction, they're going to step it off one way and then step it off back the other way to put the ball. It's going to be right back at the original line of scrimmage before that false start penalty.
Kenneth Springs rolling right, and he's got a wide receiver deep, and he's looking his way, and wow, number 7 Roberson looks like maybe he had a chance to come down with that all the way at the Sulphur Springs 10-yard line, but he really could only catch it with one arm as he was draped up pretty well by a Wildcat defender there, and as a result, it is incomplete. So a 2nd and 10 for the Bulldog offense coming up under 5.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Royse City leads 21-7 over Sulphur Springs.
Yes, that was real good coverage by the Wildcats. Certainly not pass interference type of coverage. It was real good tight coverage, and the ball was thrown pretty well, but the receiver dove for it, couldn't come up with it. Thank goodness.
Kenneth Spring fakes the handoff. He takes it himself, and wow, there were at least 6 Wildcat defenders that were there. The second quarterback, Kenneth Springs, decided to keep it and take off with it. So only a 1-yard gain on the play. It will be a 3rd and 9. Big test for this Wildcat D.
Yes, it's crunch time here for the Wildcat defense. They're going to be showing pass play here, but you never know. They could throw a screen to number 1, who's lined up out here, kind of in a tight end position. He's over in the slot.
Quarterback Kenneth Springs has the ball, stays in the pocket. He's looking for number 7, but at least 2 or 3 yards overthrown. That was intended for, I believe, that was number 7 on the play. So a punt coming up for Royse City here.
Colby Albritton, the defender for the Wildcats on that reception, and he was keeping pace with the receiver for the Bulldogs, but thankfully it was overthrown. So it's punt time for the Bulldogs, and we've got Colt Silman back here on his own about the 20-yard line to get ready to receive that punt. Oh, they're going to say offsides on the Wildcat.
Number 50 on the offense.
Oh, no, false start. Imagine that. False start on the Bulldogs there. And, boy, that was about to be a blocked punt because Riley Hammonds just shot through the line there. Riley Hammonds, special team on this special teams punt package for the Wildcats. He shot right through the middle of the line and was right on the punter. He gets blocked this time, and the punt gets away.
Very impressive kick with a high arch that goes to number 4, Colt Silman, and he calls the fair catch, and it will be downed at the 29-yard line for Sulphur Springs, which is where the Wildcats will start on offense for the next drive.
Yeah, well, they'll be coming out for their Hootens Hardware first down here. The 29-yard line, the Wildcats have got to make something happen. 4:28 left in this third quarter. The Wildcats down 21-7 as this undefeated Bulldog team is trying to keep that record going for their season.
The Wildcats for their second drive here in the second half. It is just the 3rd drive in the total second half. And Malachi Rowland is able to get through his line, bounce off some defenders for about a 4-yard rush. An impressive play there from the running back.
Yeah, it's Malachi Rowland has really been impressive these past couple of games. He's kind of come into his own, I'll say.
Yeah, and not to take away anything that J.J. Hall and Douglas Deloney contribute to this team. They are excellent workhorse running backs for this team, but Malachi Rowland definitely becoming kind of the number 1 running back for this team.
Yes, and duly so.
And That looks like Brady Driver fakes the handoff, and he gets it off to, I believe that's Luke Caton, number 45. So he's able to kind of make a little bit of something out of it on the sweep, but kind of fell down when he was approaching the sideline. So it'll be about a 1-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 6 for the Wildcat offense.
Weston Fields in as receiver here on the near side of the field, and then that's going to be Landon Fields on the far side of the field, and then I think that's Luke Caton still in as. No, I've got Malachi Rowland in the backfield.
And you were right. That's Luke Caton as the B-back.
Okay.
And wow, Brady Driver is intensely pressured, and he has to quickly throw it away to Weston Fields. And so
now it's decision time for the Wildcats. I think they're pushed too far back. They're probably going to have to punt it, don't you think?
Yep. Punt incoming as number 4 Colt Silman and Colby Albritton come onto the field. So Colby, their punter. And so that'll be a 3-and-out for this Wildcat offense. And the good news is that, well, it is unfortunate that this is a 3-and-out for the Wildcat offense. It is this is the second 3-and-out for the Wildcat offense. So
in this half.
So it's been a good half. They've managed to chew up a lot of clock and get a stop of this Royse City offense as they punt it right back to the Bulldogs, and it's downed by a Wildcat at the Sulphur Springs 37-yard line.
Yeah, it was Carson Fenton that downed it for the Wildcats right before it went out of bounds. So good job by Carson Fenton. So the Bulldogs going to start their drive on their own 37-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for them. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. The Wildcat defense still trying to hold, and they've held every time. So this half, so see if they can hold again. Or hadn't been a lot of turnovers in this game.
No, there sure haven't.
I don't think there's been a fumble or an interception, or
there was the one interception of Sulphur Springs quarterback, but other than
that's
that,
right.
And then of course a lot of penalties been called against Royse City.
Yes,
but other than that, it's been a pretty clean game, all things considered. And the first play from Royse City results in no gain, so we'll stay right where it is at the Royse City 37, a 2nd and 10 with just about 2.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Quarterback Kenneth Springs behind center, 2 running backs with him, as is their pretty much standard formation here tonight. He quickly bounces it out to number 7. That's Jonah Roberson. But Roberson, it looks like it bounced off his arms.
Yeah,
incomplete pass.
Didn't look very happy with himself there as he he just couldn't believe that he missed that. He was pretty tightly covered over there on the far side. I think that's going to be Colby Albritton covering him. But incomplete pass, so big third down.
Number 11, Mitchum in the backfield with Springs. And Champ Petty Dozier gets it on the sweep, and he's moving right, and he's able to make a nice second move for the first down, able to break another tackle well for a first down. So about a 15-yard gain for Champ Petty Dozier on 3rd and 10.
He is quite impressive and very fast, and they're backing it up, though. Must have been a penalty on the play.
Number 77 on the offense.
Yeah, there sure is, because Bulldog head coach and athletic director David Petroff, who I had the pleasure of speaking with on Monday, was furious. I mean, he came at least 5 yards onto the field yelling at that ref, so he's not happy with the call. And rightfully so, as it negated what was a 15-yard rush by Champ Petty Dozier and makes it a huge, what should be about a 3rd and 20. So that is a 35-yard swing against the Royse City Bulldogs. That's real tough, but we'll see if they can make it work somehow on a 3rd and a mile. Fakes the handoff to Champ Petty Dozier. Lots of pressure for quarterback Kenneth Springs, and he is swarmed up by a number of Wildcat defenders after Springs is able to get up close to 10 yards on the rush, nowhere near enough for the first down. So the punt team incoming for the Bulldogs.
And that was one of our team captains in on the tackle, Nick Cantillo, to take down number 1 and make it punt time for the Bulldogs.
And besides the holding call on 3rd and 10, it's The Wildcat D forcing another 3 and out here in the second half. Very impressive. And looks like we should have a false start called against the special teams for Royse City.
That's surprising.
And so it is.
Yeah. So they're going to be backed up even more. It's going to be 4th and 19 for them. Of course, they're still going to punt. And it looks like Colt Silman back to receive the punt for the Wildcats. He's going to standing about on his own 40-yard line. So this with average punt and average return should be a great field position for the Wildcats.
We'll see what he can do here. He calls for the fair catch, and he fair catches it about at the Sulphur Springs, let's say 47-yard line, which is where the Wildcats will start on offense on their next drive with just under a minute and a half to go here in the third quarter.
The Wildcats come out for their 1st and 10, like you said, in their own, just shy of their own territory here. And it's going to be the Hootens Hardware first down coming up.
Mitchell back in at quarterback, and he dishes it out to Weston Fields, but he tried to catch it with his pads, and as a result, bounced off his chest pads, results in an incomplete pass. Yeah, I can tell you one thing, when I was a wide receiver, I wasn't a very good one, but they definitely told me, do not catch the ball with your pads. You got to catch it out wide. Don't try and catch it here, because it'll do exactly what just happened with Weston Fields. It'll bounce off your pads.
That's right off,
incomplete.
Yeah. Well, let's see, and then on the far side of the field, we've got C.J. Williams.
2nd and 10. Fakes the handoff to J.J. Hall, and he gets the pass out to Weston Fields on the near sideline, and he's able to make a couple of athletic moves and take him down inside Royse City territory at close to the Bulldog 40-yard line.
That's going to be a first down and move him into Bulldog territory. Weston Fields with a great second effort, stiff-arming the Bulldog there to get that extra yardage. Then he got pushed back, but they gave him the forward progress. Here comes your Hootens Hardware first down for the Wildcats.
Wildcats need to get a touchdown on this drive if they want to keep up with Royse City. And Mitchell fakes the handoff, again passes it out to Weston Fields on the near sideline, and a very similar play to the last one, and just as successful as the last one, as he's able to get about 6, maybe even 7 yards on the quick bubble pass.
Yes, fantastic movement. A great target. Weston Fields is able to get away from his defender there, so they keep going to him. Changing the play here. I thought they were about to snap it, but Matt Mitchell in as quarterback. Got Weston Fields here on the near side, and Cable Glenn on the very far side.
In the backfield with quarterback Matthew Mitchell is number 9, J.J. Hall. And he fakes the handoff to J.J. Hall and passes it out to Luke Hayden on the outside, who's able to make it probably close to 10, maybe even 15 yards, but there is a penalty on the field.
Yes, well, it has to be an illegal block, I guess, or some kind of holding.
Yeah, there was a second flag thrown on the field a little bit after the first. So,
yeah, he threw that overhanded. I mean, it came from 20. Holding against the offense. But from the spot of the foul, so that's going to take us back all the way. I'm going to guess. Yeah, now it's going to be second and about 5.
Yeah, it looks
scoreboard
like
hadn't caught up.
And time runs out on the clock here in the third quarter as the Wildcats are going for a drive, trailing by 2 touchdowns here, 21-7 to the undefeated Royse City Bulldogs.
We're going to take a break and hear from a couple of our sponsors, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're back at Gerald Prim Stadium where it's now the start of the fourth quarter. The teams have switched ends of the field, and the Wildcats have the ball. They're trying to move on down the field after a great reception and run, but a holding penalty backed them back up. It's going to be the scoreboard says 2nd and 4, but that looks like about 2nd and 5 or 6 to me. Go ahead.
C.J. Williams fakes the handoff, and he takes off right, but he is quickly taken up by at least 2-3 Royse City Bulldog defenders.
Yeah, they had they read that one all over that and dropped him for about a loss of a yard there. So that's going to bring up 3rd down. It's going to be just a very big 3rd down for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I was about to say, Chad, I don't think it's underselling it to say that not only this drive, but the following 2 drives are the biggest on the season for this Wildcat football team. Especially if they want to get the dub here, because they've got to get a touchdown on this drive. Stop the Royse City Bulldogs on their next drive. Matthew Mitchell he's got a lot of pressure. He's able to get the pass off somehow, but not before. And there is a flag on the play, so looks like maybe he might be called for grounding, Matthew Mitchell, because I don't know that there was a Wildcat receiver in the vicinity of his throw.
Yeah, I wasn't watching that. Let's see what it's going to be.
Weston Fields comes off the field to the Wildcat sideline here on the near sideline. In at wide receiver right now, we've got number 13, Cable Glenn, number 5, C.J. Williams.
Yep.
And then on the far side, we've got B-back, tight end, whatever you want to call him, number 45, Luke Caton. And I'm not sure that the Wildcats have 11 players on the field right now. I think they're short a player.
No, now they're changing out. It looks like they're going to kick the ball. They're going to punt because that's going to that penalty is going to push the.
Spot foul. 4th down.
Yeah, they called him for intentional grounding, like you said, and that's going to push it back. It's going to be a 4th and a mile, so they're going to punt the ball.
A wise decision there, because if the Wildcats weren't able to get the 1st down, it'd give the Royse City Bulldogs superb starting field position. So tough way to end the drive, but wise call to punt the ball away. And Colby Albritton gets it away. And number 21 calls for the fair catch. And oh my goodness, Sulphur Springs fell on it in the end zone on the muffed, recovered punt. Wildcat touchdown.
Well, special teams comes to the occasion and puts 6 points on the board for the Wildcats. Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go, Wildcats, as a very fantastic turn of events. But there was some kind of penalty. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there was a holding penalty called against the kicking team, which just moments ago was the Royse City Bulldogs No, the kicking team was Sulphur Springs. So if it was against Sulphur Springs, that touchdown's negated.
Right, yeah, they would take that penalty. So hold on, they're discussing it.
Wow, this could be huge.
Yeah. Sulphur Springs kicked it, and then they muffed the catch, and then we recovered and in the end zone for a touchdown. I think they called it the wrong way. I think they called that penalty the wrong way. And so the penalty was against the other team. And so that's a score for the Wildcats. It's going to be 13-21, but they haven't put the points on the board yet. But the Wildcats are coming out to kick the extra point. So 11-11 left in the ball game.
Kick is on the way. Ariano, kick is up, and it's good. So he is 2 for 2 on PATs on the night. And with that, the Wildcats trail just by 1 score here with just entering the first minute of the fourth quarter at 21-14.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back for the kickoff in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we had a pretty crazy turn of events. I said before the Wildcats even punted it away on 4th and 6 that unquestionably that drive, the following Royse City drive and the following Wildcats drive would be the 3 most important drives through 6 games for this Wildcat football team. And when it kind of seemed like momentum was completely shifting back to Royse City on a Wildcat punt, the intended returner, Eric Spring, muffed the punt in his own end zone. Sulphur Springs fell on it for a touchdown, their second touchdown of the night. Again, now just trailing by 7 points, 21-14.
Here comes the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff as the Wildcats are squib kick right through the middle of the front line, and then it goes out of bounds about the 32-yard line. So I have to say we couldn't call who recovered that muffed punt return earlier for the touchdown for the Wildcats, because we'll have to go with a sea of blue that fell on the ball. There was a sea of blue back there as the Wildcats got down the field very quickly, and so you have to hand it to the special teams. The special teams for the Wildcats have put half the points on the board for the Wildcats.
And just like I was saying, in a time that they desperately needed it, because it looked like Royse City would get the ball and potentially take a lot of time off this clock and put this game away. But instead, Sulphur Springs now making it just a one-possession game. Champetty Dozier, the workhorse running back for this team, takes it, and he just as easily gets almost the first down, almost the 10 yards needed for the first down on 1st and 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it depends on where they're going to spot that ball. I don't think they're going to mark him a little bit short. They're going to move the chains. They're going to give him that forward progress and move the chains. They're just about at midfield on their own 47-yard line.
So with the new set of downs, 2 running backs in the backfield, as is customary for this Royse City Bulldog offense. And he hands it off to Champetty Dozier, who once again takes it left, breaks the tackle, and is pushed out of bounds right about at midfield at the 50-yard line. So we'll be about a second, or they may spot him. Looks like they're spotting him at about the 48. So just a 1-yard gain they're currently giving him.
Yeah, Cordarian Turner, pushed him out of bounds there. He got around one Wildcat defender, but Cordarian Bull Turner was having nothing of it. He pushed him right out of bounds. It's going to make it a 2nd and 9 for the Bulldogs.
And I recognize that was a special team play which got the Wildcats the touchdown, but as it currently stands, Cordarian Bull Turner with that 4-yard tackle for loss early in the game is currently our Wildcat defensive player of the game. And quickly, quarterback Kent Springs passes it out to Mitchum in the slot, but he is quickly swarmed up by the Wildcat defense as he only got 2 yards on the pass. So this is something we haven't seen a whole lot of tonight, a 3rd and long for this Bulldog offense.
Yes.
We'll see how they respond as this, I think, home crowd and momentum, they're really starting to feel that pressure, and they haven't been tested a whole lot this season, so we'll see how they respond with a 3rd and 6 coming up. He fakes the handoff. He's looking deep, and wow, he had a man wide open who would have just walked into the touchdown just about, but instead he was pressured on the throw and forced to just put too much mustard on that ball. Incomplete pass. Royse City punt team incoming.
Yep, that was Cordarian Turner, too, also providing real good coverage on number 20 for the Bulldogs, and that's going to mean punt time for the Bulldogs. So Wildcat punt receiver back here, is that Colt Stillman? Probably so. Number 4 back on his own 20-yard line.
So another 3-and-out forced by this Wildcat defense. Punt is away, and wow, Douglas Deloney looked like he maybe might have had a chance to come down with it, and oh my goodness.
The punt was a little short, and Colt Stillman couldn't come up with it, but he touched it, and the Bulldogs fell on it. So they're going to get much better field position off of our muffed punt return here. So it's going to be Bulldog ball, still 35-yard line in Wildcat territory. Unfortunately, not a big mistake on the special teams for the Wildcats there. Just the kick was a little short, and he tried to field it, and it just slipped out of his hands, and there was a Bulldog right there to pounce on it. So the defense stays on the field for the Wildcats.
A tough chain of events for Sulphur Springs, and he hands it off to Mitchum, who breaks the tackle past the offensive line, and wow, the Wildcats come up with it. Oh my goodness, Cordarian Bull Turner.
Yes.
So what has to be a fumble recovery for Cordarian Bull Turner, that's unquestionably the Wildcat defensive play of the game up to this point.
Yes, our Wildcat defensive play of the game brought to you by Sulphur Springs Dodge. You don't have to be on defense when you go to Sulphur Springs Dodge. You're all playing on the same team. They're going to get you the best deal on a used or new car or truck at Sulphur Springs Dodge.
So, wow.
Wildcats have the ball, and they've got Matt Mitchell in. They're going to start all the way back on their own 14-yard line, but still, it's a great turnover for the Wildcats.
So Brady Driver in at quarterback, and wow, Luke Caton, he is nailed as soon as he got the throw from Driver. But luckily, it is ruled an incompletion as opposed to a fumble, because if that were the case, that would have been a muffed punt by Sulphur Springs, a fumble by Royse City, and then another fumble by Sulphur Springs. So I'm sure they're all too grateful to hang on to it, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if the Wildcats can pull this one out, Colt Silman needs to buy everyone on this team dinner.
That's right.
And Driver just hands it off, and that one goes nowhere. In fact, it'll go backwards, losing yardage for Sulphur Springs, as it'll be pushed back to, well, maybe they lost just a yard on the play, but still a 3rd and 11, over 9 minutes to go here. Sulphur Springs really needing to get out of deep in their own territory if they don't want to give the Royse City Bulldogs good starting field position.
Huge 3rd down play coming up here. Brady Driver still in as quarterback.
He gets the snap. He's got some defenders coming, and he dishes out to Douglas Deloney on the screen, but Royse City was all too ready for that one, as that one also went nowhere. So just as quickly as the Wildcats got the ball, they'll be kicking it right back to the Royse City Bulldogs.
Right, and unfortunately the punter for the Wildcats will be deep in his own territory, probably standing on his own goal line as they get lined up out there. Yes, yeah, there was a penalty against the Wildcats, but of course the Bulldogs are going to decline that and keep it 4th down, so the Wildcats have to punt. And you have to hand it to this special teams and the defense, and they're just not giving up. They're staying in the game.
And that's something truly to be admired after considering some of the tough losses this Coach Greg Owens program has had this season, as Colby Albrighton gets the snap and has a nice little punt away. Royse City pointing, and it takes a nice little Wildcat bounce, not quite to midfield, as it'll stay on the Sulphur Springs side of the field and be downed right about the 46-yard line.
We've got us quite a ball game going here, Ross. It's 8:17 left in the ball game. Only one touchdown separates the Wildcats from the undefeated Bulldogs so far. 14-21, the Wildcats trail Royse City.
So the Bulldogs back on offense, and starting on the Sulphur Springs side of the field at the 47-yard line. So as far as I can tell, this is the first time tonight that the Bulldogs have started on Sulphur Springs side of the field. They hand it off to Champ Petty-Dozier, who quickly takes off to the far sideline and the Bulldog sideline, and he's able to get about 5 yards, but lots of whistles coming in, so
can't imagine there's going to be another.
Waiting to see if maybe there's a penalty on the play, but there is not. So 2nd and 5. Clock keeps rolling. Oh, they stopped the clock because he ran out of bounds. But just over 8 minutes to go. The Wildcats again trail by 7 here at Gerald Prim Stadium, 21-14 to the undefeated Royse City Bulldogs. Bulldogs have the ball. Kenneth Springs rolls out right. Looks like maybe he wanted to pass it, and he sure does. And wow, it was a nice pass intended for Champ Petty-Dozier, or I'm sorry, that was number 2 on the play, Roan Carlson, but just a little too low for the wide receiver, as he had to kind of fall to the ground to try and catch it, but immediately a ref said that was an incomplete pass. 3rd and 5 for the Royse City Bulldogs coming up.
Big 3rd down play that the defense needs to make a stop here and turn this, get the ball going the other way. Hopefully the Wildcats this defense is ready. They're lined up. They're just waiting for something to happen.
So under 8 minutes to go now here in the game. Just as Chad was saying, the Wildcats need to get a stop here. And will they get the stop at Champ Petty-Dozier? No, he breaks some tackles. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Wow.
The Bulldogs have run it right around the left-hand side there, and that running back is just hard to stop. And he bounced off a couple of defenders and just kept going and took it to the house. So that's going to put 6 more points on the board for the Bulldogs. 27-14, the Bulldogs over the Wildcats as we await the extra point.
Extra kick is up, and it's good. So a 2-possession game again. The Royse City Bulldogs lead the Sulphur Springs Wildcats here at Gerald Prim Stadium, 28-14, with close to 7.5 minutes left to go here in the game.
We'll take a quick break here from a couple of sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium. As before we went to the commercial break, we saw the exact reason why running back and workhorse for this Royse City Bulldog offense, number 1 Champ Petty-Dozier, was a preseason district MVP of District 8-5A as he took a rush 42 yards to the house on 3rd and 5 for a big touchdown that put the Royse City Bulldogs 2 possessions ahead of the Wildcats. And Royse City on the ensuing kickoff kicks it into the end zone for a touchback. So the Wildcats will start with the ball, I believe, on their own 25. And they're going to need to get a touchdown, a quick stop, and another touchdown if they want to potentially tie this game up or even more potentially send this game to overtime. But before we get ahead of ourselves there, the Wildcats will have to get a touchdown on this drive, trailing by 14 here with under 8 minutes to go.
In other district action, Corsicana is over at Greenville, 20-14 above Greenville.
And running play here for the Wildcats as number 8 Malachi Rowland goes about 3 yards on the first down rush, make it 2nd and 7 for Sulphur Springs.
I think we have, is that Matt Mitchell back in as quarterback?
Sure is.
Yep, number 10. Wildcats getting up to the line quickly, making quick work of this.
Mitchell gets a snap, and he was looking to pass it, but Malachi Rowland just could not keep away the swarm of defenders that were incoming on the Bulldog blitz. And so as a result, it looked like maybe Mitchell had a chance to take off with it and get some extra yardage, but instead it looked like maybe he was tackled for a loss. So it'll be a 3rd and about 8, maybe 9 for this Wildcat offense.
Weston Fields, C.J. Williams on the far side in as receivers. Cable Glenn on the near side here. Wildcats moving right to left.
Mitchell gets it, looking deep. Wow, and it's intercepted by the Bulldogs. Number 10 has it. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. That's a pick 6 for the Bulldog defense.
Well, the Bulldog defense certainly read that. Matt Mitchell dropped back and had plenty of time to pass, but unfortunately connected with the wrong receiver, and the Bulldogs take it back in and probably cementing this game as a win for the Bulldogs. At 34-14 as we await the extra point. Only 6 minutes and 24 seconds left in this ball game, so it's kind of a unfortunate play there for the Wildcats. Ross makes it kind of took the wind out of their sails.
Yeah, and I was going to say, even before that play got off, that you could kind of feel it on the previous touchdown from Royse City when Champ Petty-Dozier took it 42 yards to the house. The air just kind of sucked out of the stadium. Yes, a real backbreaker.
Yeah, it was. And again, the first half stats, the numbers were just about even. Both teams had a couple of hundred yards, about 209, 210 yards in offense. The scoreboard didn't reflect it as the Bulldogs were up 21-7 in that first half. Not much scoring early in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden the Bulldogs just kind of broke loose, and they started putting some more points on the board. Not unanswered by the Wildcats. The Wildcats have had a touchdown with a special teams touchdown off of that muffed punt return, and they fell on it, so they put 7 points on the board. But the Bulldogs have stepped it up, and now it's 35-14 as we await the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. The Wildcats are back to receive that on their own 15-yard line.
Ensuing kickoff after the pick six, and it's on its way. And it looks like they'll let it go into the end zone, and into the end zone it does for a touchback. So under 6.5 minutes to go, the Wildcats now down by 21 points, a 3-possession game, as the Royse City Bulldogs have taken control of this game here halfway through the fourth quarter. And we'll see if the Wildcat offense can't make it perhaps one more score closer.
Got Landon Fields in as a receiver on the near side, and then on the far side over there, we have a different receiver in. That's going to be Mr. Peckham over there on the far side, number 27. And let's see, C.J. Williams in.
And Mitchell, immediately pressured, has to leave the pocket, and he's able to take off and get about 5 yards on the rush, and 5 yards it will be as they started the drive at the 25 and are now at the 30-yard line. So over 6 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Again, the Wildcats trail by 21 to the Royse City Bulldogs, the undefeated Royse City Bulldogs. And, and we've talked about it here during the broadcast, is that the Wildcats' 0-5 record, you wouldn't know watching this game, but as we've seen here in the last few minutes, the Royse City Bulldogs, they are looking like a 5-0 team. But wow, J.J. Hall is able to take off in 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Wow, so he goes, goodness. 50 yards?
Yes, at least. Yeah, he went maybe 55. It depends on where they mark him out of bounds there. He just took off right up the middle and wasn't touched, and all the way down into the red zone for the Bulldogs. So the Wildcats have great field position now after that play. They're going to be on the Bulldog 18-yard line as they come up to the line of scrimmage for the Hootens Hardware first down.
Brady Driver in at quarterback, sitting pretty in the pocket. He's got Landon Fields in the end zone for a touchdown. Wow.
Oh,
it's forced incomplete by the defensive back, number 5, Derek Bradley, at the last second to make sure that the Wildcats don't score a quick one over this defense.
I'm going to have to look at the replay on that because it looked like he had possession of that ball, and it got knocked out as he was going down. But he's not complaining, so I think he knows that he didn't have control of that. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 18.
Driver again at quarterback, and he hands it off, or he fakes the handoff and takes off. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, and taken down inside the Royse City 5 at the Bulldog 3-yard line.
Wow, so that's going to be a Hootens Hardware first down. 1st and goal on 3-yard line as Brady Driver looks like a running back going up through the line and getting that huge first down for the Wildcats as they're knocking on the door of a touchdown.
So just over 5 minutes to go. Again, the Wildcats inside the Royse City 5-yard line at the Bulldog 4, and he hands it off to number 8, Malachi Rowland, who walks into the end zone for a touchdown.
Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats, as they put 6 points on the board very quickly. I don't know if you had the starting time of that, but there's only 5 minutes left in the ball game. Seems like it was 6.5 minutes so when they started that drive. So the Wildcats come up quickly for the extra point. It's 20-35. They're trying to make it 21-35. The Wildcats trail the Bulldogs, but their offense has got a little fire under them, and they put 5. We'll take a quick break. Listen, hear from a couple of our sponsors, and we'll be back with 5 minutes left in the game here in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium. As just moments ago, the Wildcats football team were able to travel 75 yards down the field, and just like Chad was saying before we went to timeout, they excelled at the 2-minute drill, as even though the Bulldogs might have been sporting a prevent defense on that last drive, they're still able to go 75 yards down the field in under a minute and a half and get a touchdown. So 5 minutes exactly left here in this game as the Wildcats trail by 2 possessions again, this time at 35-21. Onside kick incoming, and it's got a high bounce. Will the Wildcats get it? No, Royse City falls on it. Wow.
Well, that looked like that was going to be an onside kick, and they're calling it the Wildcat way there.
Wow.
No, now he's pointing the other way. You know, I'll be honest. I've complained about the officiating this season. Somebody told me I should just go ahead and learn the names of the officials so I could call them out directly, but I won't. That one official was clearly pointing the Wildcat way, like they had recovered their own onside kick, but then he changed his mind, and now it's going to be Bulldog ball on the Bulldog 45-yard line. Well executed onside kick, but unfortunately didn't go the Wildcat way. We'll have the Wildcat defense will have to dial it up to have a 3-and-out on this Bulldog offense.
So hands it off to Champ Petty-Dozier, and just like that, he takes off right and almost splits the defensive backs and is able to get close to 15 yards on the rush. So it started at the Royse City 45-yard line, and just like that, in one play, they've crossed the midfield and are now in Sulphur Springs territory.
That was Austin Cheney and Cordarian Turner on the tackle. It took both of them to bring him down. That running back's just a powerhouse. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a couple of times here through the broadcast, and you see exactly why. He was the preseason District 8 5A MVP. And hands it off to Champ fakes the handoff to Champ Petty-Dozier. Kenneth Spring taken off, but he's got a defender draped all over him, and he is railed to the ground by 2 Wildcat defenders for a big tackle. I'm sure he's going to be feeling that tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Austin Cheney stopped him, and then Griffin Crawford and Nick Cantillo wrapped him up and took him to the ground, and they both hit him hard. So all 3 Wildcats in on that tackle. So Austin Cheney kind of stopped him and stopped his forward progress like he wanted to discuss something with him, and then that brought the other 2 Wildcats in to finish him off.
Bulldogs taking their time as Champ Petty-Dozier gets the handoff, and again, he takes it 15 yards down the field. What started as a 2nd and 10 from the Wildcat 42 has moved all the way to almost the Wildcat 25-yard line, so about a 15, 16-yard rush for Champ Petty-Dozier as he continues to rack up the yardage.
A couple of Wildcats in on that tackle as well. Madison Martin on the stop.
And he hands it off to Mitchum again, and Mitchum Not as successful as Champ Petty-Dozier. He doesn't have quite that same versatility and quickness as the preseason district MVP showcases, but he is able to get about 3 yards on the rush, so it will be about a 2nd and 7, just over 3 minutes to go as the Royse City Bulldogs looking to finish out the game here on this drive if they can milk as much clock as they can.
Yeah, that's clock keeps ticking. They're taking their time, not the fast offense that they had earlier in the game.
And he hands it off to Champ Petty-Dozier again, and he takes it up the gut. He is able to break a number of tackles, and he's still going. And he's just about to the Wildcat 10-yard line, and they'll spot him pretty close to it. Yep, 10-yard line exactly. So 12-yard rush from Champ Petty-Dozier, as seems like on this drive alone, he's pretty much traveled the distance of the field himself. Again, the Bulldogs taking their time as there's just 2.5 minutes to go. And I wonder if we'll get another Innis Lion play where they kick a field goal on 2nd down.
Right, yeah, I know. I was just thinking that myself. And some good sportsmanship down there. Matthew Martin, number 25 for the Wildcats, helped take down number 1 and then helped him off the field. So timeout's taken. They're going to talk about it. We're going to take hear from a couple of our sponsors while we take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we are about to close out the Wildcats football team's 6th game here at Gerald Prim Stadium when they host the Royse City Bulldogs. The Bulldogs up 2 touchdowns right now, 35-21, again with just over 2 minutes remaining. And if the Bulldogs can't score a touchdown, there's no doubt just 10 yards to go. They will milk as much clock as they can, but Champ Petty-Dozier takes it himself for a touchdown. Yeah, Chance Petty-Dozier is just proven to be unstoppable, and I don't think that's any reflection on our Wildcat defense. I think he's unstoppable against any defense in the games that they've played. That's why they're 5-0, and probably soon going to be 6-0 as they have. If they get this extra point, they will double the score that the Wildcats have put on the board. 41-21 right now, waiting this extra point. Here comes the snap.
Kick is up. It's on its way. And it's good. So it's officially a Bulldog 21-point lead at 42-21 with just over 2 minutes to go. And when we return from a commercial break after hearing from some of our sponsors, we'll dot the I's and wrap the T's on this
Covering that, here comes the kickoff.
And looks like it's number 6, Colby Albritton, and he's got some green grass. He's at the 40. He's at the 45 before he's pushed out of bounds right about at midfield. And whoa, he's tackled out of bounds, and there's definitely some laundry on the field.
That's going to be great field position for the Wildcats. As what a fantastic run back. I'm going to call it at least 35 yards because he caught it about the 10. Could have been a little farther. He caught it about the 15-yard line, but they're going to call him out of bounds at the 49, and then there's going to be another 15-yard penalty stacked onto that for.
Foul, unsportsmanlike foul, 15-yard penalty.
So, thank goodness I can read lips from here from the official because he wasn't very clear. Unsportsmanlike conduct. That's for the tackling out of bounds. Way out of bounds. He wasn't even on the white anymore on the far side of the field. He was well into the green again and got thrown down. So it's going to be 1st and 10. Hooten's Hardware first down for the Wildcats on the 36-yard line.
And Brady Driver gets the low snap and tries to get it out to his receiver on the outside. That's number 27, Adam Peckham. But just the throw was not from Driver where he wanted it to get to Peckham. So incomplete pass, a 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, good effort there, but didn't connect.
So 2nd and 10 coming up for the Wildcats. Now, again, on the Royse City 36-yard line, under 2 minutes to go. They trail 42-21 as they look to make this final score a little bit cleaner and closer, which is exactly what the game would suggest. And number 22 for the Wildcats. That's reserve running back Jesse Bailey. Bailey, the senior, doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, and unfortunately on that play, got just about back to the line of scrimmage and was tackled in the backfield by a defender of Royse City. So 3rd and 10 upcoming, a minute and a half to go here in the game.
Reed Williams in as a receiver as well.
Driver gets the snap. Lots of guys, but Cable Glenn is the intended receiver on the target, but he is held in a big way by number 9. A pretty shameless hold by Wyatt Sweeney for the Royse City Bulldogs, as he just wanted to avoid the touchdown, because had he not held, I believe that was number 13, Cable Glenn, on the play.
Yep.
And had he not held, or I'm sorry, had he not done pass interference against the Wildcat wide receiver, that would have been a touchdown.
Oh, sure. So it's a big penalty there. Of course, it's an automatic first down as well. So almost to the red zone. The Wildcats are going to be on the Bulldog 22-yard line, and it's going to be 1st and 10 from there after that penalty.
Driver gets the low snap, and he fakes the pass and takes off with it, and he's inside the 20 to close to the 15-yard line for Royse City, as it looks like he'll be called out about the 17-yard line, so about a maybe 2-yard rush on the play from Mitchell.
No, it's going to give him 5 yards there. They started at the 22, so it's going to be 2nd and 5 there.
Clock stoppage with Mitchell running out of bounds. Driver running out of bounds. So in the backfield with him again is the senior Jesse Bailey. And out on the near sideline on the Sulphur Spring side is Landon Fields, but he dumps it out to Luke Hayden, who's got some green grass ahead of him, and is tripped up by a Royse City defender that was number 36 on the play. Jalen Benton, who came in on the tackle. But looks like, yes, he will have more than enough yardage for the first down, about 2 yards more than he needed. So will be a new set of downs. And the good news for the Wildcats is while they do have just under a minute to go and a loss is upcoming for this football team, they will have an opportunity to get a 1st and goal at the 1 if they can get it. Brady Driver rolling left, and he is manhandled in the backfield by number 10 for Royse City. That's Braylon Harris with the sack.
Yeah, unfortunate there. They blitzed and got right through the line and wrapped him up and dropped him for a big loss. So that's going to be 2nd and 17 for the Wildcats. They're going to take a timeout and talk about it. We're going to take a quick break and listen to some information from a couple of our sponsors, as there's only 28 seconds left on the game clock. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as the Wildcat football team are about to finish out this sixth game here, and lots of flags all over the field as quarterback Brady Driver is able to get a nice pass into Landon Fields close to the goal line. We'll see what the call is, though, because we've got penalties all over the field, but Landon Fields did catch the ball close to about the end zone and looked close to crossing the plane.
Right.
Offside on the defense.
Oof.
That penalty will be declined.
So an offside penalty called against.
And you're right. Yeah, they're going to mark that just short of the goal line, which is going to give them a first down, and it's first and goal right on the 2-inch line, it looks like. And another timeout is called. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we are pretty close to finishing this game up. Coach Greg Owens wanted to take a final timeout to make sure that his team could get one last touchdown in on this game to make the score a little bit more respectable. And, wow, Jesse Bailey waltzes into the end zone for a Wildcat touchdown as they're just looking to make this score a little bit closer and have something positive to build on heading into next week.
A great play call there because that put 6 more points on the board, and the Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats, and way to go Greg Owens on that play call because sweep around the outside. He went into the end zone untouched. The score is 27-42, awaiting the extra point. The official comes over and talks to Greg Owens about something. I don't see any flags on the field.
After the play, got dead ball, personal foul, 45 on the defense. That player's been disqualified.
Oh, wow. So number 45 on the Bulldogs, personal foul. We missed that after the play was over.
Correction, that was on the offense, number 45. He's been disqualified.
Oh, so disqualified players. So they're going to finish out these last 21 seconds of the ball game. So not sure what that penalty was, but here at the end of the game, the tensions and the emotions run high, especially with the Wildcats about to suffer another loss. But the kicker's lined up, and we're awaiting the extra point and maybe make this a little bit more respectable, like you say, Ross, for the Wildcats.
And I mentioned before they got the touchdown that they want to make it more respectable and have something positive to build on, but something I'll love to talk about with Coach Owens is, granted, I know he would have liked to come out of tonight with a win, as the extra point is good to make it a 2-possession game yet again, this time at 42-21. But so many more positives in this game than we've seen in some previous losses this team has suffered.
Absolutely. And as we only have 21 seconds left, we're still going to take a quick break as come back and have a kickoff with 21 seconds left. We'll take a break and be right back.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium as we've got just 21 seconds left to go here in the game. I feel like we've been saying for the past 10 minutes that there's been 1 minute left in this game. But the Wildcats were able to get another touchdown thanks to Jesse Bailey, just as Chad was saying before we went to commercial break, waltzing into the end zone untouched for a touchdown.
Great play call.
It a 2-possession game. And Chad, did I miss something, or is the score supposed to be 42-28?
It should be 42-28.
I wasn't sure if maybe the PAT was missed or something.
No, I think they called that good. We'll have to check. No, the Wildcats are pushed back for the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff, and they're going to go for a onside kick anyway. And it gets kicked right to one of the Bulldogs, and they down it. So with 21 seconds left, the Bulldogs going to have fantastic field position on the Wildcat 35-yard line. The Wildcats were backed up because of that dead ball penalty after the touchdown. And so anyway, the Bulldogs are going to have their 1st and 10 on the Wildcat 35. The officials are huddling up yet again about something else. I don't see any flags on the play. So it's 21 seconds left. I would think that the Bulldogs, they've got this one put to bed. I would think they would either down it or have a running play and let the clock run out, and that'd be it. 42-28. The scoreboard keeper here at Gerald Prim Stadium has woken up and put that extra point on the board. And they do. They down it, and that's going to run the clock out. As the clock ticks down, 15 seconds and counting, everybody's going to start shaking hands and lining up. And the Wildcats will go to 0-6, unfortunately, for the season. And these Royse City Bulldogs will go to 6-0. Obviously, a powerhouse offense that they have, very well deserving of their season. But also, I think they found a formidable foe tonight, kind of surprising for them, I would imagine. It was a very close game for most of the first 3 quarters, and the Wildcats never gave up, always doing well, always improving, but coming up short as the clock goes down to triple zeros on the scoreboard, unfortunately for the Wildcats. But some great plays, some good defensive plays, some great special team plays. Another great night of Wildcat football, Ross.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I got to tell you, it's great to be back. Something we didn't mention during this broadcast that I kind of wanted to is that this time last year, and I know the second I say this to a coach, they don't want to talk about last year's team, but this time last year, this team began a streak of not playing a game for 28 days, and the team as a total only played 6 games total.
Right.
So the fact that they've now played 6 games with no cancellations, granted their first week opponent, Frisco Wakeland, had to cancel, but they still played Frisco High. So the fact that we are even at this point is honestly something truly to behold, and something that I think we all have learned last year we can't take for granted.
A great turnout of the fans here at this Wildcat game at Gerald Prim Stadium. We thank everybody for those that don't want to come out to the stadium. We thank you for listening on our radio station here and watching on YouTube on our streaming channel as well. And so that's going to wrap it up from Gerald Prim Stadium for us. We'll see you next week in Corsicana. We'll make that long drive. That long drive will be sponsored by J. Hodge Chevrolet, as it always is. But we'll be taking on the Corsicana football team and down there in Corsicana. So our thanks to everyone that makes this. Of course, the replay of this game will be on Channel 18. And, of course, you can watch it when Doug edits it down. It'll be on Channel 18 and our YouTube streaming channel. Our thanks to James Terry back at the studio for taking care of all that. And of course, Ross Flabinski on your play-by-play. I'm Chad Young. That's going to do it tonight for us. We thank you for listening, and we'll see you here next time. Good night.